Good afternoon. Only 5 people per section.
Yes.
Can I have some quietness, please? Just drop your hands. Please drop your hands. I want to explain how it's going to work.
Ngicela sehlisele amazwi wethu masikhuluma ukuze sikwazi ukuthi simzwe umhlonishwa uGiloni mangaba ekhuluma. Uyasho uthi indlela uhlelo esizolwenza sizothatha abantu abawu5 ngesikhathi.
There was an arrangement that we will start in that corner. Only 5 people who will raise their hands will be acknowledged, and then we will move over. And no one is going to run to a mic. We really need to get order, not like in the first session.
Uthi ke umhlonishwa uGiloni sizoqala ngokuthi silalele laba bantu ebebeshekile ebengithe makubasukume abawu18 kuphela bahlale phansi abanye kwamanje kuzothi mase kuphela bona sibe sesithatha ke abantu abawu5 ukusukela ngala kulesandla sami sokudla ngokwe row sothatha abantu abawu5 siphinde sithatha abantu abawu5 sithathe abantu abawu5 sithatha abantu abawu5 sithatha abantu abawu5 kube sekuya respondwa ngaphambi ukuthi ke kukhona abanye abasekhona abasafuna ukuphakama.
If there is still people left who needs to raise some issues, there is staff members in the hall that you can just go and hand in your issues that you want to raise. The ministers need to leave the latest by 5:30. So we want to give everybody an opportunity. So we're not going to entertain people who will just get up and go to a mic. If you feel that your issue was not raised, you can write it down and hand it over to some staff members.
Tige uGiloni sizothatha laba bantu abashoyo abantu abawu5 ngesikhathi njengoba sivumelene ukuthi umuntu uzokhuluma u2 minutes abantu kodwa bangacabanga ukuthi bazovaleleka ngaphandle ngoba vele inina enibalulekile namhlanje sizolalela nina kodwa uyaphakamisa ukuthi umuntu mangaba esekhuluma kukhona obekhuluma ngaphambili angasaphindi into eseyikhulunyiwe aseyishilo omunye uze nokwakho okusha.
The list that we've got here, can I ask that people on the list, because it's 18 people, just to write your issues down because you are coming from the previous session. And then you can hand that issues over to one of the staff members who can bring it to the table. Now I will immediately, can we relax, please? Can people sit down and keep quiet? We need order. I will ask if you can look that side for the 5 hands. Is there people in that side that do have questions? Identify that area first. Remember, you've got 2 minutes to raise your question. We need to give every single one in the 6 areas We need to give you a chance, so we are going to restrict you to 2 minutes. Thank you.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ke nizwile ukuthi sebengaphakamisa abantu laba bantu laba baphethe ama mics ngicela niba identify. You just identify 5 people at a time, 5 people at a time, 5 people at a time, 5 people at a time. U2 minutes ke irule esivumelene ngayo. So phinde futhi sithathe enye round ezayo. Akekho umuntu ongazukhuluma, wonke umuntu uzokhuluma
We're
ngoba
not going to
sifuna
entertain
ukuthi
other hands
sidedelane
now.
ingakho
Can you
sisithi
please wait till we get to your section? Can you please lower your hands? Thank you.
sicela ukubona abantu abawu5 ke lapha yana ngapha kulela cala.
Please,
Laba ba-
please, please lower all hands. We're not going to take the hands in the other areas.
Okay. Okay, mfethu usungaqala ke manje ukhulume, ungakhohlwa ukusho igama lakho nesibongo nokuthi ngophi umasipala neward ukuze sikwazi.
We're not going to entertain people this side who's standing behind mics. Can you please take your seat? There's people standing here behind the mics. Please take your seats. Please take your seats, Mama. We're not going to entertain you guys now. We're starting there in that corner.
Ngibingelele ama-officiali, ngibingelele umphakathi, ngibingelele bonke abantu. Igama lami uLinda Mjoweni. Kuwona lo masipala esikona.
Bengicela uphinde igama lakho baba
Lindo kuhle Mjoweni.
Ubani?
Lindo kuhle Mjoweni. Benginesicelo ukuthi mhlambe since kukhona abantu baka Home Affairs ingenzeka indlela njengasezingolweni sibe ne Home Affairs ngoba sinenkinga sonke sisuka ezingolweni sizoshaya ama-ID eShepstone. Nokuthi kungenzeka yini since kwabakhona ama-flood ngoba khona abantu abanjelwa ama-ID ademejeka mhlambe kube khona imobile bahamba abantu by ikhuzana iward neward benzela ukuthi bashayiswe ama-ID ngoba kuyagcwala eShepstone and sekunobugebengu. Ngiye kuma-granti kunomama abafisa ukushayela abafisa ukuthi bathole ama-granti. Inkinga kukhona abangaholile ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani. Ngibonge.
Sicela uma ukhuluma usondele kwi-mic kodwa ungasondeli kakhulu ukuze sikuzwe mangaba ukhuluma.
Amen bazalwane. Igama lami nguJoseph ngwakagasa. Eharding kwambotho ngendawo uWard 2. Nginesicelo la sokuthi kunabantu abakhubazekileyo kunogogo abangasakwazi ukuzikhelela amanzi lapha awukha khona umphakathi. Benginesicelo sokuthi ogogo nabantu abakhubazekileyo bafakelwe ompompi emizini yabo emakhaya. Uzakwazi ukuthi mangaba izingane zile esikoleni efuna ukuginya amaphilisi akwazi ukuthatha inkomisha empompini athola amanzi aginya amaphilisi. Naleso sicelo nje uba manje kuyalapha kukude la ukha khona umphakathi. Futhi lapho umphakathi ufika utelekile kuthiwe bamba iqueue nje kasibambile iqueue kanje. Kube kanti ugogo akakwazi ukuphatha into enkulu. Naleso sicelo nje. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga baba. Ulandelayo.
Sanibonani. Igama uDumsani wakamkhize ngiqhamuka eMzumbe ka Ward 7 kwiMahlaya VD. iMahlaya VD ngaphasi kwendawo yakwamgaye. Sinenkinga ku Home Affairs sishaya ama-ID eScottburg. Uma ufunakala uyoshaya i-ID noma kuyolungiswa into efunala uyilungise eHome Affairs, kumele uhambe mhlambe ngabo 2, qasha imoto ngabo 2, ngoba mawuzothatha ama-tax aqala ngabo 6 uzofika vele eHome Affairs igcwele, uphinde emuva ungalungiselekanga and ibanga lide usuka kwaMgaye uya eScottburg. Ngeke ukwazi ukuthi uhambe ubuyelele. Okwesibili, kunabantu abakhubazekile engibona ababiye babe nenkinga yokugugelwa ama-wheelchair, bangawathola ama-wheelchair ngesikhathi, obona ukuthi kunzima ukufukula umuntu osemdala umkhipha umphumulisele eminyango okungcono menesihlalo. Okugcina ngicela ukubuyela lapha kancane emuva, ngivaleleke ngiphindiswe kabili ngihlaliswa phansi. Ngikhala ngereservoir eyakhiwa ngo-2010 ayikazi isebenze ilapha emahlaya VD iphakela uMgaye wonke. Into ebuhlungu kakhulu ukuthi kuyagqekezwe ezikoleni, njengoba kugqekezwe ezikoleni impahla elokhuzwe esikoleni itholakala kuleya reservoir seyifihlwe khona sokusehlathini. Bengicela ukuthi kulungiseke leyo nto ngaleya reservoir. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga baba. Olandelayo.
Angibingelele uqaphela wakamavundla ku-Ward 24 umasipala iReinkonyeni under inkosi uNdwalana. Okokuqala nje bengizocela mina ngicela ukuthi i-issue pertaining disability ngicela ukuthi la ogwini together with local municipality kuyiReinkonyeni kuye senzelwe i-disability desk sizikhulumele thina siyibantu abakhubazekile ngoba khona abantu ekuthiwa basimele but akekho umuntu okhubazekile lapho nokwazi ukukhuluma ilanguage yethu. Siyacela nje ngoba unyaka sewuphelileke kulungile kodwa siyacela ungapheli loza i-disability desk ogwini noma eReinkonyeni ingazange ibe khona. Okwesibili i-issue ethinta health, mina ngihlala eBethane njengoba ngishilo under Ward 24. So lapha biqali sasikade sisebenzisa isibhedlela sase-Shepstone ngoba kuseduze nathi. Kwahamba kwemanje kwathiwa umuntu waseBethane Bhomela Nyandezulu akavena ayasebenzisa igama lakhe. Igama lakhe icaleni thina number 2. Igama lakhe ugibela ka4 mawuye igama lakhe. Kane Shepstone besivene sigibele kanye. So siyacela ukuthi kuvunyelwe futhi ukuthi njengoba sasivele sisebenzisa iShepstone thina sivunyelwe ukuqhubeka neShepstone. Okugcina i-issue pertaining uHome Affairs. Siyacela baba lapha baba uMtswaledi uHome Affairs ukuthi kune MPCC elapha eNyandezulu kuyona yakhiwa kahle siyancoma izinto zirathi but ke kunama office angasasebenzi. Enye lama office esiwacela kakhulu awa Home Affairs ngoba kune demand enkulu yama IDs futhi bekuyosiza ukuthi vele abantu basizakale vele la bekhona. Siyabonga.
Siyabonga baba.
Sanibonani.
Yebo baba.
Ngiyaphila.
Asabingelelani ngoba sesibingelele.
Bayangizwa. Okay. Ayike okwami nje ngoncane kakhulu. Ngoba umfowethu usengikhavile lo waka wa 24 lo kade eqedwe ukukhuluma. Igama lami kuBheki ngoba kakalibanyana ngiyi-ward committee ku-ward 24. Ukubonga nje kuphela ngoba lokho ebengizokusho usengikhavile ubhodi. Ngibonga nje ikhansela lethu ebesinalo ebelivama ukuyibamba njalo imihlangano nathi lisi-addressa ngezinto zonke ezenzekalayo. Njengama-ward committee sinolwazi with everything eyenzekayo ewadini yethu. So siyathokoza ngezinto ezenzekayo nangama-bridge yakhiwayo. We are very happy. Yabonga.
Sicela ukuthatha ke abalandelayo abawu5 le row abawu5 angithi sivumelene ukuthi sithatha 555 abawu5 sisazophinde sibathathe abanye abantu bangakhathazeki ningabi nexhala nizophinde nithathwe ingakho sithi abantu mabekhuluma mabangandi babe bade. Mabathathe u2 minutes. Ngicela nilethe i-mic laphaya.
Support staff. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. The mic needs to be that side.
Move the 5 now. Yeah, move the 5 now. That 5. Mama. You see now, Mr. Titus. Mama, please, Salapanzi. Salapanzi, everyone.
Can I ask the support staff to move the mic to that side? Because we are on that side. The mic is not supposed to be here. Take the mic that side.
Besicela i-support staff.
Sorry, can I ask the support
i-mic
staff
laphaya.
to take the mic
Ngoba
that
i-mic
side?
fanele uba ibe
Why did
laphaya.
they take the mic there? The agreement was that the mic will be placed where the people are from. Take the mic back, please. Sir. Come here. Come here. I had an agreement. No, but the issue.
Mamela, I was told to do this.
The mic is there? Okay. Where's the mic?
We need that side of people to speak, not this side. Please, there was an agreement. There was an agreement between myself as the chairperson and Dixon. No, but it's not. It's got to do with we had chaos. Please,
I-mic isayikhona lapha. Okay, bengicela uqala ukhulume baba. I think they're making a chaos. Ngicela i-support staff isize ihlele kakuhle ngoba abantu bese besukumile laphana abawu5. Kwayinini enithatha i-mic nayiletha la. So besicela ukuthi laba bantu besukumile abawu5 kube yibona abaqalayo ukukhuluma lapho.
You don't listen.
Siyabonga.
Sicela ukhulume ke umphathi wabantu abadala.
Siyabonga. Okay. Daphne Memela lo usihlalo wabantu abadala la kwi-district na kwi-province. Sinenkinga thina abantu abadala sihlalo ngo-Home Affairs wase-Potchefstroom. U-Home Affairs wase-Potchefstroom uyagcwala. Siya-understanda-ke thina abantu abadala ukuthi ufanele ukuthi ugcwale ngenxa yokuthi uReyinkonyeni unamawadi awu-36. Sivuke ekuseni sifike laphayana sime kulayini. Uzojikele ngale ka-Shoprite ulayini wase-Home Affairs. Ufike, uzofika kwa-Home Affairs. Uyafika ngaphakathi kuthiwe inamba isidlulile kwinamba yosuku uphindele ekhaya kubuye ngakusasa uphinde into eyodwa nje uyihambela noma ika5 cabanga ukuthi singabantu abadala sihlala kuze usuku lonke kwa Home Affairs siphinde futhi singasetshenzeli. Siyacela kube khona ama-satellite aka Home Affairs. Kube khona ama-satellite aka Home Affairs. uHome Affairs ungabi uyedwa eShepstone. Awabe khona ama-satellite kwezinye indawo ukuze kuphunguke umthwalo oka Home Affairs wasePotchefstroom. Uyasihlupha kakhulu Home Affairs singabantu abadala. Okwesibili kubili kuphela nje. Okwesibili thina njengabantu abadala lapha ya kuma ward committees asimelekile. Kusuka nje ingane encane kuthi uyimela abantu abadala. Siyacela kube khona umuntu omdala ozomela abantu abadala kwi ward committee. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga mama.
Angibingelele onibingelela untethelelo waDudeni muzo wabantu ward 9. Amaphuzu wami enzoqala ngalo uHome Affairs. Home Affairs kanye namanye ama-offices ngenze kugxile kakhulu kona ngoba sekudluliwe. Asinawo ama-offices inqala sizina nje kumuzi wabantu hayi into esingenayo ngoba njengoba ikhona nje kunestaff esishodayo. Yingakho abalo mama nje wekhuluma osuka la kuze kugcwale ePotchefstroom ngenxa ukuthi harding idudulele ePotchefstroom. Into eziningi harding ziyashoda. So ogcina kuba ukuthi abantu abadala abaningi abanama IDs egcina kuba ukuthi nezingane ze-affecteke. Siney'ngane kumanje emakhaya ezingafundi. Kumele kube sesizigabe soba ngabe sisesikoleni kodwa asifundi ngenxa ukuthi azinawo ama-birth certificate. Bese ngize la kusasa usasa kunento engasiphathi kahle enzakalayo. Izikhungo ngasekhaya ziqale zaqedwa ezinye kwasale ezimbili. Nalesi sisodwa saqedwa ngegeme edlule. Bayiswe edolobheni akuphephile amaphara aphuca imali ezalukazini. Okwesibili akuna shelter laba abalokhuza khona ababamba iQQ khona. Bese kube ukuthi akunazo even nezihlalo kanti le emakhaya kunezihlalo babekela itende kube right konke ngoba umuntu omdala nophila nokhubazeka angeke uzukwazi ukuthi ume for 3 hours ume ku line usalinde ukuthi uhambe ohola.
Okay baba.
Bese kube ukuthi ke khona lokho kunye bekwenzeka yabona laba abathengisa khona emakoteni sebephuceka isinkwa ngoba kuyenza ukuthi ngalesikhathi abantu abadala besalinda imali bese kube khona ukuya ngasethunjini abazokuthenga bona kulabantu laba. So besicela lokho nje engicela kumuzi wabantu. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga baba.
Angibonga. Program Director neParliament lakho ngiyanibengela sanibonani. Igama lami ngusimo ukamsani Sibongo iqhamuka eMdoni eSkolberg. Sinenkinga ke thina abantu abakhubazekile.
Sorry igama lakho uthe ubani baba?
Simo Msani. Simo Msani awumadoda.
Okay qhubeka.
Sorry Che. No, inkinga esibhekene nazo eMdoni uwonkana. Ngimela abantu abakhubazekile oba nami ngikhubazekile. Siyabonga amakhansela ethu esisemisana nawo. Asinikeza ama-truck kodwa inkinga umuntu okhubazilwa make wheelchair uzowathola kanjani amanzi eyedushwa abantu abangakhubazekanga. Ayigcineza angasizakala amanzi angawatholi. Yona inkinga esibhekene nayo. Njobe amanzi engekho. Number 2, ama-toilet aqondene nabantu abakhubazekile. Siyawacela, siyathola. Women settlement. Sinenkinga kakhulu. Sicela izindlu eziqondene nabantu abakhubazekile. indlela yethu okhubazeka ihlukile. Ngicela ukulungisa ubaba kade la asiphili baba nokhubazeka. Khona omunye nje official esebenza kaCocta la ngixabene naye kakhulu leminyango. Kodwa ngifuna ukuyimention igama layo. Indlela ekhulume ngayo nayo asiphili nokhubazeka, sikhubazekile nje bakwethu that's all. Sicela siya understand nje lo.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi usuyaqeda lapho wemfethu Simo.
Singaqeda ma. Hayi uhealthy kuyinkinga. Uhealthy nje uyinkinga. Sinenkinga yodwa ke thina sikhubazekile ke health. Siyacwaswa sihlalo. Sinayo imizwa sonke uthi ukhulelwa kanjani ukhubazekile kanje. Siyashatelwa futhi. Inkinga esibhekene nazo lozo. Ngeke ngimention uhlobo lini lesibhedlela. Kodwa nje inkinga esibhekene nazo ilozo. Angiphathi ke kwasasa, hayi usasa, awuyasigila shame. Awusasa umvuselela kanjani umuntu okhubazekile uthi ahamba ayovusa ngegrant yawo. Why umuntu okhubazekile uthi ahambe ayovusa nalapho siyacwaseka nje kakhulu. Ngiyajabula mekhona eParliament ngoba siyokhuluma ama on rights ethu. Ayangiphathi ke ma home affairs, madoda. Hayi home affairs uyinkinga. Umuntu okhubazekile uma ekseni eqasha imoto ngo 3 o'clock efuna ukukhava isikhathi. Bafika kutshela ama-official home affairs athi ugesi awukho, i-system down. Usowuqasha imoto wena ngoba suke endaweni zasemakhaya abantu abakwazi ukusizakala. Ugcina ungasizakalanga. Siyithini-ke nomuntu okhubazekile amulayini ashiswe ilanga ahlale kuyi-chair. Siyilungisa kanjani? Angibonge, thank you, good night.
Siyabonga mfethu, dadewethu.
Ngiyabingelela ku-program director, ngibingelele nabaphathi abakhulu. Igama lami uMavunda wakwaGwija osuka kumzwa abantu esigodini sakwaJali. Mina ngizokhuluma kule ndawo
Ayimake uyakhawulezisa dadewethu, mina ngifuna ukuzwa igama lakho.
uMavunda owakwaGwija ophuma kumzwa abantu.
Okay.
Ward 9. Okay, ngizokhuluma ke mina kule ndawo yakwa health. Ward 9 unesigodi eziwu14, ikliniki i1. Maka ufika lapha uya kudokotela wamazinyo athi uyafika kuthiwa akafikanga. Ufika lapha futhi uyolanda amaphilisi kuthiwa akekho umuntu wamaphilisi, uyafika uyolanda mhlawumbe uyikhona nenye nolunye usizo olufuna kuthiwe unesi wakhona akekho. Into esho ukuthi ke ngokuyaphinda ungenziwanga lutho. Ngibuye ngingene la ka home affairs. Home affairs sinenkinga. Abantu bonke abaningi certificate ama-ID bawashaya la iside. Kodwa sinawo home affairs, home affairs uyafika awunawo namafomu. Size nabantu la ogogo bo 1954 sijethi bazosizakala. Siphinda nabemuva basizakalanga. Abantwana bo 1980 abo 1979 abanama ID. Kuloku uphindiswe emuva uyofuna iform. Iform alikho sisi uzokutshela mhla usina. Uzongitshela kanjani home affairs ukuthi iform alikho. Kodwa mina ngiquqa mihla namalanga kwa home affairs. Okwesithathu ioffice la kwa labor asinalo. I-office lakwa labor uyalinda namhlanje kuthiwa sothitha abawu-10 lisuke enkokstead ngo-11 o'clock lizofika ngo-1 lukutshela ukuthi sothitha abantu abawu-10 uyanethwa ufike from 5 o'clock wenzela ulayini. Okwesibini abantu baka-home affairs bakutshela ukuthi sothitha abantu abawu-10 more than 10 jika uphinde emva sizukwenza nto thina kanjani intoni eshodayo ikhompyutha ilimele umuntu ozokwenzisa izitifikate akakafiki. But thina ufike ngo-5 o'clock uze home affairs because ngoba uyazi ukuthi uxakekile. Uyafika nomuntu wama-ID, hayi ndilibele into ethile. For ntoni na kanti sizosizwa yintoni ke ngokuthina? Ngiyabonga.
Ngisacela unibingelela uZandile wakanjakazi eBhobhoyika wa 23. Zandile Njakazi wa 23. Ngisacela ukuqala la ku home affairs. Home affairs khona into oyenzayo of which as umphakathi asiyiboni thina rights ukuthi mase kuzosondela ukuvota home affairs uyakwazi ukuza kuthina of which bongakosondela ukuvota siba olayini oma bethu bagcine bengasizakalanga. Sicela home affairs iwenze njengoba duwenza hayi ngoba sekuzovota. Home affairs kuba ukuthi bayadiscuss abone ukuthi ngesikhathi esingakanani noma emva kwenyanga engakanani siyaphuma thina as home affairs siya ebantwini. Angikholwa ukuthi truck kuphela yaka home affairs engasebenza ukuthi yenza ama-ID ngoba kuhleze kukhala ngokuthi truck iyodwa. Neyamaphoyisa truck ninga-communicate nabo kusizwane as konke kusebenzelani umphakathi kuyosizwa abantu emphakathini kuvulelwa ama-ID bathola ama-ID. Bese ngizoza kwabakhubazekile. La eShepstone sinesikole esisodwa sabantu abakhubazekile, of which silapha edrobheni. Leso sikole ngoba nginomfana wasekhaya othe ethi 18 esekhubazekile, sesiphelile isikhathi sakhe, asamazi thina ukuthi sizomenza njani ngoba asifundiswanga vese ngomuntu okhubazekile ukuthi uphathwa kanjani. Sisacela nisakhele esinye isikole sabantu abakhubazekile, not esisodwa, ngoba angikholwa ukuthi uRenkonyeni umngaka ungaba nesikole esisodwa sabantu abakhubazekile zibe ziziningi kangaka ezabantu abangakhubazekanga. Bese ngizocela ukubuza indaba yonompilo. Indaba yonompilo, onompilo bebekhona emakhaya kodwa basekho. And thina esingasebenzi esihlala nabantu abadala ngasemakhaya siqina thina, angingasho ukuthi thina mina ngicina sengiyosiza umakhelwane ngaphandle kwama-gloves ngoba anginazi izinsiza ekufuna ngimsize ngazo. Kwenzekalani ngonompilo ngoba babekhona kodwa sisababoni? Sicela nisisize ngonompilo nisibuyisele bona. Not ukuthi asithanda ukusiza abantu abadala, but khona izinsiza ekufana ngabe sisiza ngazo onompilo abanikezwa zona. Bese ngicela ukubuza iclinic ukuthi ePopoyi iclinic yakhiwa nini, because iclinic ekhona eyasemganka. Ukuya emganka ngisuka kaDunjazane it's 13 kilometers. Kumina right, kumuntu omdala ukho right. iPopoyi inendawo iPopoyi uJesus inobamba indawo ezu4 kodwa. Lezo zindawo lezo ngeke ukuthi lezo zindawo ezu4 ngabe kuthiwa iclinic yakhona ile yasemganka. Bese ngicela ukugcina.
Siyabonga ke baba. Dadewethu angithi besivumelene phela mina ngeke ngabeka
All right.
ama-rules. Besivumelene phela ngama-rules akithi. Yebo mfethu.
Angijwalanga ntasabelungu. Angibingelele.
Ngicela ulikhwaze nje igama lakho silizwe kakuhle ngoba sifuna ukuthi liphume lapha ezincwadini impela lapha lapha eParliament elikhulu ukuthi wakhuluma wathini nomasipala newadi.
Ngiyabonga. Angibingelele igama lami nginguvela wakanjapha eMzumbe ku113. Mhlambe ngineyintwana nje ezimbalwa ebengibhale phansi mhlambe ke ezosiza mhlambe ke noma socela sinisize kuzona. Ngizoqala ngosasa. Lapha ekuhlaleni sinenkinga ukuthi besinama payphones lapha besondezela abantu ukuthi bahole impesheni kalula eduze kwabo. Ayavalwa amaningi savalwa asaqhubeka ayavalwa futhi. Mhlambe ngaphandle kokuthinta umphakathi siwavala ama payphones enu ngoba asafuni ukulisiza niseduze, sifuna nihambe niye emadolobheni besifuna ukulisiza. Lokhu kuyabahlukumeza kakhulu ke abantu abadala ngoba kakhulu asithi nabantu abadala lapha emakhaya esingazi ngempela ukuthi uhulumeni wathi methatha lesinqumo usithatha based on what abantu basiza ngani ngalokho. Ngiphinde ngisekona kwasasa sinalo hlelo lweingane kuthiwa iCSG. Thina ke sithi iqolo ezilihola izingane kusuka zizelwe kuze kufike 18 years. But asazi ukuthi ngesikhathi seyidinga kakhulu imali ingane seyiqede ugrade 12 seyingene tertiary ibe seyavalwa ukuthi mhlasimbe besicela mhlawumbe ukuthi uhulumeni mangase kwenzeke ayiqhubezele. Ngiyakhumbula isikhathi singaphambili kwakwashiya ukuthi izothi ingane mayisafunda misise tertiary iqhubeke le grant ithole ize iqede isikole, kodwa kaze kwenzeke mhlawumbe ngazi makwenzeki lapha eSouth Coast phela mhlawumbe kusinda kuyenzeka. Ngizogcina ngokwasasa konke ke siphathe kabi ke sihlambe sifikile ema-office umuntu ezofuna usizo
kuqhamuke lo sisi lona waqhamuka nohulumeni okuthiwa wakashezi uload shedding afike ukuhamba ugesi mase hamba ugesi uma seyibuya mhlawumbe ugesi uhambe ngo-1 uzobuya ngo-3 ama-system angabisava ama-system ukuqala ukusebenza mhlawumbe futhi 30 minutes ngo-half-past 3 sekuyavalwa ngo-4 asazi mhlawumbe i-department ingaba na mhlawumbe uhlelo ukuthi mhlawumbe ongenani ibe nama-generator kuthi mekuhambe ugesi kusebenzisa i-generator phela ukuze umphakathi sizakale ngibe sengiya emnyangweni ngqo
Sesiyagcina ngithi mfethu.
Phinde mama
Sithi sesiyagcina manje.
Beke phela ngifuna ukuthatha kuma-department lapho mama kulohlelo lakho kunama-department amathathu beke ngifuna ukuthatha-ke naleya ka-health bese ngigcina ngeya-home affairs njengokubhalwa kwalapho phansi oright-ke sengizoqeda-ke kwa-health inkinga inkulu kakhulu kodwa njalo bekuwumsombuluko abantu behlezi kulayini njalo wonke amakliniki kunomhlangano so besocela i-department mekunokwenzeka ake iye kubamba imihlangano ngesikhathi abantu bemiphandle istaff sovalwa ngaphakathi sosibamba imihlangano yeplan yokusebenza kwesonto lonke siyacela lokho ukuthi mase kwenzeke nikuvale lokho ngiyagcina lapho ngqi bese ngiya ka-home affairs bese wacela home affairs ukuthi nenze lento kuthiwa i-outreach program.
Thank you.
Angizwa?
Thank you. If you've got more
Kamana ngiyaqhubeka uzongilinda wena
you can just
uzoma
note
ngiqedele
it down.
ngithi mina
There is time agreement. You are way over your time. sir.
Siyabonga baba bengicela abawu5 la kule row. Imic ize la. Sicela uqale mama. Ungakhuluma.
Sanibonani. Ngingumama umtshali mina ngiphume wa2.
Sicela nehlise umsindo manje asisamzwa umuntu okhulumayo. Ukuze sisizwe isikhulumi esikhona esikhulumayo kwemic sicela sizame ukuthi masehlise umsindo.
When we start the session, we agreed that we will have 5 per section. We can't just have people jumping up from other areas and go to a mic. We need to have order in this house. And we agreed on the rules before the session started. Where are we now? We are in this section. So the people standing at the mic, from which section are they? Okay. But please just keep the order in the house.
Sanibonani. Ngingumama umtshali mina. Ngiphume wa2. Iwadi yethu inenkinga ya home affairs. Home affairs iwo ukade kwavula amehlo. Abantu bekwazi ukuhamba ngeenyawo mabeyoshaya ama-ID certificate. Wamuvela ePagrina sinenkinga enkulu. Ungafika ngo3 ekseni uthola ukuthi awusizakali uze ubuye. Ne transport yakhona iyabiza. Siphinde sibe nenkinga yeklinika asinayo ikliniki sifanele mawugule ebusuku uye eScotbera fanele uqashe imoto kanti iwadi abantu abampofu abangenayo imali bese ngigcina ke ngalokhu ukuthi noma ke kusekulate ngoba umacengwana kasekho besinenkinga enkulu ogogo abakwazi ukuthi babe namanzi baqashe imoto ngiye ngacela nami ukuthi ngiphiwe amanzi nganginomsebenzi ugulathi asikhokhe 2000 angikwazanga ukukhokha lo 2000 ngaqhubeka ngenza okwakungangifanele ukuthi ngincenga abantu bomphakathi bangikhelela amanzi. Ngiyabonga.
Sanibonani, uNozipho Mngadi oqhamuka eWard 2 kwaQego indawo. Mina ngizofaka isicelo kahle kuMinister waka Home Affairs ukuthi siyacela ukuthi uHome Affairs owakwavula amehlo edududu ukuthi ubuyele back kubantu. Bese ngiphinda futhi ngibe nesikhalazo sokuthi nginomntwana owenza iID ngonyaka odlule. Kuze kubi manje ID yakhe akayitholi, ithi into yaphumela kwenye indawo. Umntwana uka grade 11 njengoba ngikhuluma, next day is going to do grade 12. Ongazi ukuthi lo nkinga singayixazulula kanjani. Bese ngiphinda futhi ngikholelwa ukuthi bewumenshiniwe uDepartment of Health besicela siwathula phakaQego noDidini ukuthi sicela iclinic. Ngoba iclinic esedududu 27 kilometers isuke emakhaya seclinic. Ngiyabonga.
Sanibonani. Makhosazana Ngcobo kuward 17 nginenkinga eyodwa. 2013 ngathola ukuthi ngashona. Iminyaka emibili ngayihlangenyuka. Ngilungisa indaba ukuthi abangivuse phela. Bangivusa ngashaya iID. Ama duplicate anginawo awu6 kulama Home Affairs bafuna izinto ngibanikeze ngishaye wonke lama Home Affairs ngiyabanika into zami kodwa iID ayibuyi awu6 ama ID kufanele babe nginawo akhona eyodwa ebuyayo. Ngicela ukwazi ukuthi ngenze njani ngoba abangitsheni ukuthi inkinga ukuphi uze ngingawatholi. Ngiyabonga.
Sanibonani. Igama lami
The last speaker can also come.
Bengicela kube khona iofficial ezothatha imininingwane kulo mama osukayo manje. Yeah, please.
Sanibonani. Igama lami nguzamekile wakasithole ophuma kumasipala waseMzumbe ngaphansi kwa Ward 14. Okwami nje kuyicelo. Ngizocela ukuthi lapha yaka Ward 14 sithole indawo la uHome Affairs ezokwazi ukufikela khona ngoba kuthina uma ngabe siya ka Home Affairs kukude. Kwesinye isikhathi uthi uyafika khona kuthiwa namhlanje asikwenzi lokho sizokwenza kusasa kanti usugibelile ngaliyo mali yakho encane engekho. Siyacela ukuthi mhlambe mangaba noma usuku elilodwa ke esontweni kungasijabulisa lokho. Konke lokho kuhlanganisa nosasa nawo yakhe inkinga ke inkulu kakhulu ngoba ufike uye namhlanje kukude nakhona ukugibela ngemali enkulu uye namhlanje kuthiwa kwenzeki ubuye ngakusasa ugesa uhambile akusebenzeki uzugcina ubuya ebusuku usuwehla endaweni ezikude ezinana nobungozi ukuthi ungagcina ungafikanga ekhaya. Bese ngiya lapha ya ukuzocela ukuthi sicela ukwandiswa onompilo ekuhlaleni. Bese ngicela ama-clinic ukuthi sicela ama-clinic asemakhaya nawo akwazi ukusebenza 24/7 ngoba kwesinye isikhathi kuba khona izinto ozibona ukuthi lo mphefumulo walo muntu bungasizakala ukube bikhona indlela ukuthi sibe ikhona iclinic eseduze evulile. Uthi uyafona ethuthwini kutholakala ukuthi ama-ambulance awekho asaphumile ngaleso sikhathi ubona ukuthi bebethanda ukukusiza kodwa awusizakali ngesimo. Bese kuthi sizocela bandla ukuthi lapha eMzumbe sisenkingeni enkulu kakhulu sicela ukubuyiselwa ekusebenziseni iPorchepstein isibhedlela ngoba uma sisebenzisa iScottburg lesi sashintshelwa kusona uma ngisuka ekhaya mina ngeScottburg ngihamba ngo110 rand ukuya kuphela. Shuthi mina senginesibhedlela eSikethekwini. Uma ngabe uhambile waya ethuthwini bafike bakurefere esibhedlela into ezokwenzeka kona uya eScottburg. eScottburg akekho umuntu wakini okwazi ukubheka awutholi lutho olukusizayo. Abanye bazobagcina beshonele esibhedlela uzwe sekufuniselwa ngempela uthi uyabheka lapha kulo mndeni akekho umuntu obezokwazi ukuba nemali yokuhamba eScottburg. Ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Ngaphambi kokuthi ukukhulume olandelayo bengicela lama officials eze ngaphambili uyawadinga ungqongqoshe ungqongqoshe Motsoaledi uCyril Mncwabe awusekhona no ngubani omunye noSiya Ngoza ngicela nimbize azohlala la ahlale la ngaphambili ungaqhubeka mama
Angibingelele ngibonge usindisiwe lwakandlovu ophuma ewa 26 eqina about egama lakhe ngizocela nje ukubonga kakhulu ukuthi igama lakhe sinayo ikliniki ifana nesibhedlela iyasiza kakhulu kodwa ke esinenkinga yakho lapha kuma file ithatha kuba ne delay kakhulu angathi singalungiselwa leyo ndawo nje kuphela odokotela bakhona bayo yonke into okwesibili ekliniki thina njengeqina about sino CCG oyedwa ongakwazi ukusimanage sonke njengoba iwadi inkulu nje ngiyeka sasa usasa wethu ukhona igama lakhe ngenhlanhla nje ama department sinawe igama lakhe kuyahambeka kalula inkinga esinayo sinabantu abadala abasebenzisa iposi ngeinsuku zegrant lapha yawuthothi mhlawumbe izulu liyanetha itende alikho izihlalo azikho itoilet alikho sicela usasa nje mhlawumbe ukuthi usorganizele makuzoba insuku zegrant uHome Affairs sinawo futhi inkinga kakhulu ke thina sisebenza kusukuma sakhe sinabantu abakhubazekile ongabi lula ukubathatha sibasa kuHome Affairs ngenxa yemali esingenayo mhlawumbe ukuthi uthola ukuthi umuntu nayo imali futhi akanayo siyasicela sizokhansela wethu besicela mhlawumbe ngoba ihall sinalo likhulu ukuthi mhlawumbe basiphe nje mhlawumbe noma usuku esontweni noma enyangeni sazi ukuthi bazofika nini sikwazi ukuthola bonke abantu abazodinga imfanelo eziqhamuka kuHome Affairs okugcina ekliniki sicela basenzele uhlelo lwama wheelchairs ngoba manje sinenkinga ukuthi ama physio amanye ayafika akwazi ukuassess abantu emakhaya amanye angakwazi ukuphuma ekliniki athi abakwazi ukuphuma kufanele thina siqashele labantu imoto sibase kanti mhlawumbe umuntu simqalise ekliniki nje vele negrant akakayitholi sicela nje kakhulu lapho ukuthi sithole itende for abantu abadala lapha eposini sithole uhlelo lwama wheelchairs siphinde kuHome Affairs usiphe lolo suku mhlawumbe kanye enyangeni lokuthi abantu bazi ukusizakala ngiyabonga
siyabonga kakhulu
Sanibonani igama lami uJustice wakashuze emalangeni kaWard 9 khona into esifuna ukuyazi nokuthi singaka ingani phambili sakhe inhlangano yogogo kaWard 9 nomkhulu 5 years ago sa-apply kuma-social worker sasithola isitifiketi kodwa akaze sichazwe
Ward 9 ngoMphuma Spa ngoMphuma Spa
angikuzwa
Ward 9 ngoMphuma Spa
uthini umasipala umasipala uMdoni
oh okay
so sizamile ukukhuluma ke neminyango yahlukene sishaya angcingeje asuyitholi into yaphambili so ogogo bebengithumile ukuthi ngoba kuziparlamente la ngife ngiyibeke le ndaba ngoba sekukaningi sikhuma neMaritzburg ekuyona ekuthiwa yona ephethe asiyiboni into yaphambili bengicela ukuzwa ukuthi singenze njani ke ukuze sithole into yaphambili enye into khona into engiphathe kabi komunye unyaka kwathiwa ngiphathi war room ngathola ukuthi kuthiwa i-war room ayina budget ngabuza ukuthi kuthiwa ayina budget kanjani i-war room kube kuyinto esungulwe uhulumeni ngicela ukuzwa le ndlela ukuthi kuyiqiniso lokuthi i-war room ayina budget ngiyabonga
ngiyabonga baba sicela Oh, okay, khona. Sicela bawu-5 lana kulo line bekodwa sicela ukuthatha lowo wokugcina umuntu. Sicela bawu-5 lapho baba.
Tell a guy in the wheel.
We will come that
I'm
side,
going to-
please. We're coming your side.
Siyeza kwecala sihamba kanje. Siyeza sicela i-support staff ithathe i-mic izise kwecala. Ingahleli ilethela la abantu kwecala kuphela. Ngempela bagcina sebesheka ngemuva ngala kwecala. Bengicela nike ni-identify abantu ngala kwecala. Besicela ukuthi sithathe ubaba oyedwa lapho wokugcina ngoba bengabonakala uhlele ku-wheelchair. Yebo baba.
Angibonga ithuba mphathahlelo. Sengizwana. Angibonga ithuba mphathahlelo. Ngibingelela abaholi bezwe bonke.
Sicela ungabingeleli mfethu. Sicela igama lakho nesibongo neward.
Mina nguSifiso Mteshana. Osuka eHarding. Umkhandlu umuzi wabantu. Ngingaphansi kwe-18. Benginesicelo kusasa waseHarding besicela ulungiswe ngoba uyahlukumeza umuntu okhubazekile izalukazi unezitebhiso asikwazi ungena uma sivakashela usasa okunye futhi akhonjwa ama-toilet awabantu abakhubazekile lapha kwasasa besicela ukulungiselwa lokho nokuthi usasa uthi efika umuntu ebonakala ukuthi ukhubazekile uzobhalisa igrant akasebenzi lapha kwasasa eHarding ngazi noma ngumthetho wakhona owalapha kwasasa waseHarding kuphela noma uyenzeka kwezinye indawo ngoba bafike bamphike umuntu ukuthi makayosebenza umuntu ebonakala ukuthi ukhubazekile lo muntu ngeke asebenze besicela ukulungiselwa lokho umuntu udokotela ikhiphile incwadi lokuthi lo muntu makayofuna igrant sicela bamnikeze phela igrant okunye ku-Home Affairs lapha ku-health sinenkinga kakhulu futhi kwa-health eHarding esibhedlela manje sinabafowethu abangenawo ama-wheelchair akade ngizama ngibacelela ama-wheelchair abanawo ama-wheelchair abanye bahlala emakhaya bayaqukula base emnyango noma bema-toilet abanye basebenzisa ama-pampers awekho akatholakali abafowethu abakhubazekile abahlala ezindlini abangakwazi ukunyakaza besicela lokho ukulungiselwa nje Nkosi yami abafowethu bayasokola baqukulwa ngamabhala makuthi mhlambe baye emakliniki noma ezibhedlela besicela ama-wheelchair
Sesizwile baba. Kuzwakela. Udaba lwama-wheelchair nama-pampers. Sicela i-mic la kule cala. Ngicela ama-officials.
Order, please, order.
Ngicela ama-officials kukhona abantu abaphakamise izandla lana. Kodwa sishilo sanithembisa sathi senza i-round yokuqala sisazobuyela. Sisazobuyela ngoba nabanye phela kufanele sibanikeze isikhathi. So ngicela ama-officials identify leza zandla. Yebo baba.
Angibingelele.
We are going to set them out because we need order. This is still parliament.
Joseph
They
Nwane.
must behave.
Ngaphansi komdoni. Iward 1. Ngicela ukuphakamisa lokhu omele eze clinic. Ngo 2016 sa applya sacela safaka isicelo esasithi sicela iclinic ngoba iclinic asedududu ikude namanje asikaze siyithole siyacela ukuthi mhlambe sikwazi ukubhekeleleka yiloko number 1 number 2 ka ward 1 indawo enhlwempu ebekade yakhethwa njengendawo eyasupplywa uFirst National kade kudliwa khona yavalwa lokho kudla okwakade kukhona kusiza abantu abanhlwempu ngoba kuthiwa kungaphasi kwa First National sifisa ke bakubhekelele abaphambili ukuthi kungani kwavalwa uma kuvaliwe asicele usasa ungcono akhipha amaphasela noma kabili ngonyaka ngoba uward 1 unhlwempu yiloko ngifuna ukusho. Number 3 sengigcina ngicela ukusho ukuthi ka ward 1 kwavalwa ama pay point la kade kuholelwa khona sekuholwa emzinto izalukwazi more than 10 obanjwayo njalo siyafisa ukuthi uma kungukuthi manje sesitsheniwe ukuthi khona ipost bank esekuyiyona ezoholela ezipost sicela ke manje zivule lezi yandawo zontathu ukuze abantu bakwazi ukuba safe noma izalukwazi zikwazi ukuphepha. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga baba.
Ndiyabingelela Ward 3 emzwabantu igama lami ngixoliswa Mahubelela. Mina bengicela ukuthi eHarding isibhedlela sikhona but isibhedlela sakhona sasenziwe kudala umzwabantu ungekakhuli kangaka so asikwazi accommodate zonke iwards zasemzwabantu. Ela ukuthi uMinister wakwa Home Affairs ukuthi sicela ake asibhekele abafana aba bokufika because indlela abasiphatha ngayo ekuhlaleni ewe siyayazi ukuthi asifalanga sibacwase kodwa indlela abasiphatha ngayo ayikahlanga especially xa kufika ekudayisweni kwezidakamizwa especially ebantwaneni abancinci iwes amantombazane so siyacela uHome Affairs angenelele ajonge. Eyesithathu into sicela uDepartment of Labour. uDepartment of Labour ukhona kodwa ubonakala engenamazinyo engalungi. Abantu bayahlukunyezwa emisebenzini kodwa sithi ukhona uDepartment of Labour kodwa asiboni umsebenzi wakhona. Sekukhulunyiwe ke ngoHome Affairs esingenayo nosasa usasa siyacela naye kujonga indlela esetshenzwa ngayo kwasasa ayikho right. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Angibingelele kubahlonishwa. Okhulumayo usebenzani wakwamyeza ka Ward 2 kwiqiko Tribal Court phansi komdoni. La ngizolekelela bese ngiphinda kokunye ngicela. Ohlakeni lwamanzi ukhulumile ubaba uMacingwane wathi uzoyilandelela indaba yasemdoni. Kunenkinga ekhona uma unomsebenzi kuthiwa amanzi awuzowathola while bazi ukuthi amanzi awekho ukuthi abantu abazobe besemcimbini bazobe bephuzane amanzi engekho. Okwesibili kusekhona emanzini sinelembe water scheme eka Ward 1. Ilembe water scheme yagcinwa ukusebenza ngo2012 njengoba ku2022 okusho ukuthi 10 years lo. Siyacela ukuthi ivuseleleke ukuze singabi nalenkinga yamathange ngoba mawufona uthi ucela amanzi uke uthole impendulo engezona mithisiseka kahle. Ngilandelele la kwivideo yami onompilo bashona anginaye. Ngiyacela ohlangene lwezempilo ngibuye ngizogcizelela kusasa. Mina ke umama ongemva kwami uthe izingane akumele imele abantu abadala. Mina ngimele uhlaka labantu abadala. Lokhu okwenzeka kubantu abaphansi kwesandla sami sokubanjwa inkunzi bayahlukumezeka baphathiswa. Lo myalezo nguthumela kunina kukahle ngoba ngokazwelonke bonke labantu abala enibaphethe akufanele niphatheke kahle mangabe behlukumezeka ezitolo bephucwa izimali zabo. Ngizovala sinenkinga angazi noma ingakithi kuphela yini yokuntshontshwa kwemfuyo. Sibe sinawo amaphoyisa awalandeleli awavali imizila kuvimba imoto. Asazi kulaba abaphethe umthetho ukuthi bona bamisa kanjani. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga baba.
Sanibonani, umama Eunice Sithole wasetsheni ka Ward 14 ngaphansi kwamasipala waseMzumbe. Ngibonge ukuthi sibone iParliament elizoba nathi namhlanje sikwazi ukuthola ithuba lokuletha izicelo zethu. Siyacela lapha ka Ward 14 esibe neclinic. Abantu sebegula kakhulu sebenezifo eziningi. Sekuyagcwala kakhulu emakliniki. Uthola ukuthi umuntu ufika ekseni azahambe esehamba ngebhasi ya2 ntambama noma mhlambe ya3. Siyacela ke ukuthi ke sibhekelelelwe lapha ya ka Ward 14 ke sibe nayo iclinic. Ama clinic esiwahambayo ayibangana asikwazi ukuhamba ngeenyawo kumele umuntu egibelile. Kutholakala ukuthi nale mali yokugibela omunye mhlawumbe uza default ngoba imali yokugibela ayolanda amaphilisi akhe akakwazanga ukuba nayo. Ngibonge ngiphinde ngicele ukuthi lapha kusukuma sakhe sicela ukuthi usasa kanye no Home Affairs babe khona njalo makuzoba amalokhuza ama-war room ukuze ngoba ziningi izinto ezisidingo sabo kuma report aba lapha kuma-war room. Lonto sibona izosisiza nokuthi gweme ukuthi kube nezingane ezingenawo zo izitifiketi ngezizathu ezithize nabanye abangakwazi ukwenza izinto ko Home Affairs. Ma Home Affairs ezifikela uzozizwela ukuthi isidingo sikhona. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga mama. Yebo dadewethu.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguNonkululeko ngingwakazungu, ngihlala eMdoni eWard 7. Ngiyaxolisa ke ukuqhubeka endabeni ebisisalile. Shothi ngisale kulayini la sisakhulunywa ngendaba kamanzi, yamanzi. Ngihlala endaweni eyisabelo nendawo eyilokishi. Amanzi eWard 7 sawagcina ngo2017. Ukwabona nje phuma kompompi. Sine water tank eyagingqika last year ngo2021. Asikaze sibe nayo till today. Uma sithola iwater tank sithola kwamanye amawadi ngokuyiboleka. Isebenza kabili evikini. Kunendawo ekuthiwa iClip lapha eyakhiwa izindlu ama-RDPs. Lapho kunama toilet angaphakathi. Lo my toilet akwazeki ukusebenziseka ngenxa yokuthi amanzi khona awekho. So kudingeka ukuthi abantu bakhona baze babeke amanzi abageza ngawe ukuze baflash ama toilets. Mase kuthi khona izindawo ezakhele thina njengesezela Pennington nezinye Baisley ifafa zona ziyatholakala ziphuma amanzi. Of which lathi lesakhele khona amanzi awekho at all. Siphuza amanzi ewater tank nawo ama-water tank angenele. Mese kuba indaba yakwa Home Affairs. uHome Affairs kunenkinga lapha ya ufika uvuka ekseni uya kwa Home Affairs ngethemba lokuthi uzosizakala. Uma ufika kwa Home Affairs ufika njalo abasebenzi bakwa Home Affairs bazokutshela into eyodwa ukuthi ama system are down. Muya nje Home Affairs ama system akhona ahlezi down. Uhlale kuze kushaye mhlawumbe past 3 noma u4 la abavala ngawe abake basakwenzelela ukuthi ngakusasa ke uma usuphinda kube khona indlela yokuthi wena ngoba ubuzile yiba phambili. Siyacela ke kakhulu Home Affairs ungenelele kulozo zinto ukuthi uma ukade uzile ngayizolo cha phela ngakusasa yiba phambili. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Siyabonga dadewethu.
Ngiyabingelela. Igama lami nguNomusa wakaduma. Ngaphansi kwamasipala umzi wabantu. Ngisuka ku Ward 1. Sinenkinga sicela la isicelo. Sicela uHome Affairs uphindele le ndawo yaqala lapho osivakashela emakhaya. Mhlambe noma kabili onyakeni. Okwesibili futhi esicelayo eHome Affairs sicela ukuthi kwenzeke mhlambe njengezinye izibhedlela njengokomshiyeni ukuthi ingane zishayela amabhethi ngaphakathi esibhedlela athi umntwana ephuma aphume senayo ibirth certificate ukuze kwazeke ukuthi sinciphise izinga lezingane ezingenazo izitifiketi. Okwesithathu sicela istaff eHome Affairs uvela uthi uyafika mhlawumbe uzokwenza into ozoyenza ufike kugcwele bathi icela uphinde emuva ngenxa ukuthi istaff sinani kuthiwa kuyashoda kakhulu eHome Affairs bese kube khona indawo la ehlala khona umphakathi ethiwe yi-war room lapho kuhlala khona istructures zahlukene. Besicela uHome Affairs azohlala noma kanye enyangeni ukuze athole izidingo zomphakathi esizikhuluma lapha kuma-war room. Sibese ngiya ku-health la u-health besicela amakliniki angaphansi komzi wabantu ukuthi sicela ukuthi avule u-24 hours futhi siyacela ukuthi avule kusukela Monday until kuze kube yisonto ngoba khona abantu abasebenzayo abangakwazi ukuthi baye emakliniki bangakwazi ukuthola izinto abazidingayo. Besicela nestaff emakliniki istaff usiphelele ungafika ekseni uze uhambe ntambama ngenxa ukuthi istaff asiphelele. Sicela nemithi ibe khona ungathi uye ekliniki kuthi imithi iphelile. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga mama. Sicela kulabo abasizayo izozimaki baba. Ngicela nisize lapha. Ngicela ukhulume mama. Ngicela ukhulume dadewethu.
Hayibo.
Ngokuzikhulu ukuzithoba nguNobuhle Gambushe ophuma ku Ward 32 kuReinkonyeni uMasipala. Okungisukumisayo isikhalazo engisithunywe umphakathi engihlala nawo njengomuntu osihlalo kwi-war room. Inkinga esikakhulu kaSasa siyacela uSasa usilekelele malana nezingane ezishiwa abazali zihlale nabogogo. Uma abazali sebehambile mhlambe emhlabeni kuye ugogo masethi uyakaSasa uyofuna isibonelelo kuye kuthiwe ogogo abafuna oyise balezingane.
Siyacela kusilele kakhulu lapho ngoba kuyenzeka uma wengane ngisho ephila ubaba wengane bahlukane naye angamazi. Kuye kube wesi kuma sekuthiwa akasekho uma wengane ingane seyisele nogogo. Okwesibili sicele futhi kwasasa ka social department kuyenzeka ezinganeni ezizintandane mhlambe kube khona uDOSD na ungenelela kwawo siyazi ukuthi kuyebe khona okuncane ukusizakala sicela ukuthi nje sisalindile izicelo leso sizicela njengabantu abaculayo sicela noma besinika noma food parcel kungasasa phela bawulothi we-2 kg esalinde lo sosincephezelo asilindile sicela ukuthi iqaqa lo vote bese ngiza kwa home affairs ayeke kwa home affairs sidayiseke kakhulu siyashadiswa siyashona sikuyenzeka kuthiwa sowushona uphila sinesicelo ke futhi kwa home affairs kuyenzeka ngisho ngesehlakalo sangasekhaya kukhona omunye usisi one-ID le eyikwembe ngoba ke inesithombe esi-black uma esiyakoshaya i-ID yakhe kasasa kuthola ukuthi ene hayi awuwena lo okule card manje lo nkinga ke iyashaya sike wadini ngoba ehleli bezobika njenge-war room esihlanganayo sibamba iy'nkinga zomphakathi.
Siyabonga mama. Bengicela ama-officials akwa-social akwa-Department of Health, ama-officials akwa-Department of Health asondele la ngaphambili. Ama-officials e-Department of Health kukhona umuntu onesiphakamiso kodwa angafuni ukusisho la emphakathini. Bengizocela ukuthi ama-officials akwa-social akwa-Department of Health alalele lolo daba. Cela uze mfethu.
Angibonga ithuba mphathi wohlelo. Angisamboni umphathiswa la waka social services. Okhulumayo uLinda wakamtshali ku KZN Municipality. Okokuqala izinto zimbili into engifuna ukuzibalula. Mhlambe asimbonge uhulumeni okhona through umnyango wezaka social services ngokuthi ngesikhathi sibe nesimo esingesihle sokhuvethe ukwazile ukungenelela ukuthi asize la engasiza khona noma bekuncane kodwa akufani. However i-problem ibese iqala la ekutheneni ke uma sekuintroducewa indlela yentsha yoku-applya lokho kwenza ukuthi abantu abaningi ibavalele ngaphandle. Bengithi ngizocela kumhlonishwa uZulu ukuthi mhlambe bathi revisit whatever criteria abayi-determining factor ekuthenini ba-reverse i-application method yokuqala eyayi-user friendly ebantwini bakithi taking into account ukuthi uhlanga lokuyilona oluhlaseleke kakhulu. There's high level of illiteracy ngiyadlula ke lapho bese ngiya kumhlonishwa wami waka home affairs udokotela umtshwaleti. Mhlonishwa ngiyakholwa uyezwa ukuthi indli yakhala ngedepartment yaka home affairs. Now ngitheke ake ngizinekeze isikhathi mhlonishwa ke ngiye kuyobheka ukuthi kwenzakalani lapha. Engikutholile ukuthi their staff complement bahlala bekhala ngokuthi bayashota. Okwesibili bakhala ngokuthi their systems they've got no backup. Njoba sinenkinga ye load shedding abakwazi ukuthi baqhubeke basebenza. Angizukuhlala ke kakhulu lapho ngoba baku-addressile but sengihlala phansi naku okugcina ozakwethu labakhala ngama-queues amade aka home affairs nokuthi bayafika ekseni baze bahambe bengazange basizakala. Upon ke uphenyo engilenzile ngithola ukuthi kune system entsha eya-introducewa yokuthi abantu bakwazi ukuthi ba-apply online, taking into account ukuthi your system ayimfavor umuntu obe previously disadvantaged in the sense that ukuthi there is a high level of illiteracy ikakhulukazi ohlangene olumnyama. Now into eyenzekayo ke nedala ukuthi uthola ukuthi umuntu uzofika azahambe engasizwanga. Uya apply online bakunikeze i-date ngesikhathi ufika already ufika sekunabantu abamile la wena uyahamba ngoba une appointment labantu abamile aba understand. So my plea to you mhlonishwa ukuthi mhlambe ake ni reviewishe le method because kubonakala engazathi mhlambe ifavor uhlanga oluthize obenivele luvelele ezintweni kakhulukazi lezi technology. Ngiyabonga.
Angibingelele igama lami ngulondiwe isibongo ngwandovela ngiqhamuka ka Ward 11 ngaphansi kamasipala eRenkonyeni. Mina okwami nje engizokhala ngalo la kakhulu ngumuntu osuka kanzima kwe sinomgwaqo omkhulu kanzima kwe oyitiyela engicanga ukuthi uR61 ukusuka kwaBhambula unyuka sinama hams mawufika endaweni yaseBrema iproblem esinayo sinezingane zesikole ezwela umgwaqo. And into eyenzakalayo umasipala wethu kade sasikhuluma abasitshela ukuthi masikhulume ngenye into ngoba ama-hams ayabiza. Okusho ukuthi thina fanele sifelwe izingane. Unyaka nonyaka esikoleni enkoneni I think kuyangcwatshwa abantwana abawu5 because yezipiti sezimoto. Siyacela bandla ukuthi ningenelele endaweni yaseBrema kufakwe ama-hams ngaseBrema Hall isethiromi kuzobe isesikoleni eBheki ngoba izingane ziyaphela nabantu abadala bayaphela. Even Sunday ngikhuluma nje khona ingane seyiphuma kokha amanzi yabishayiswa imoto phambi kwami and ngihlala eduzo komgwaqo ayimnandi le nto. Siyacela ukuthi nize ningenelele kuyona. Okwasibili engikubona sinenkinga Home Affairs. Home Affairs wasePortshepstone awusiphathi kahle even so ufikile khona nangendlela othi mawukhuluma nabo kahle bak-address ngayo akuyona indlela oku-addressa abantu ngayo leyana especially kulo muntu ohlala lapha edeskini. Angizwe ukufihla lokho sinobaba ohlala edeskini laphayana uyasinika inkinga hayi kancane because uma kukhona izinto ofuna ukuzenza abuye akutshela kwakhe uphuma uhambe masobuyile futhi ubuye utshela okunye abafuni noma ngabe kuthiwa ugesi ukhona vele kuthiwa isystem i-down. Mina ngasuka la ngowase-Portshepstone ngifuna i-death certificate yengane ngaze ngawushaya ePietermaritzburg ngishiya iPortshepstone lana okuyinto engenzi kahle. Ngibuye ngikhalaze ngendaba yeBrema clinic. Sineclinic laphana ekuthiwa iBrema sayinikezwa i-rights yakhiwa. Iproblem yethu sekuthenini eBrema clinic bathi bavula u7 ukusebenza baqala ngo9 every day bona banama meeting ngestaff. Lo 4 kuthiwa bavala ngawo ubathola ngo2-3 sebeyahamba ngezimoto iklinikhi selivaliwe. Bese siyacela abandla kakhulu ukuthi ningenelele lapho. Ngiyabonga.
Ngiyabonga dadewethu. Olandelayo.
Ngizibongele ukuthola ithuba uZwili wakamhlongo osuka kuWard 1 eMkhunya eMdoni. Esami isicelo ngicela ukuphathisa abahlonishwa ukuthi bangitshelele ubheka icela ukuthi isicelo sethu eMkhunya nguhlalo wePolice Forum eMkhunya siqale ngonyaka odlule sisebenzisana neDududu. So manje inkinga yami noma inkinga yethu besicela noma icontainer ubheka icela ezwe eMkhunya ngoba ukude eDududu ngisebenzisana nawo amaphoyisa uma ngiwabizile akhala ngeveni athi amaveni mancane ngizofanekisa ngami nje isuku. Mina ngidutshulwe ngo12 ngafonela amaphoyisa ngingakayenzi iPolice Forum bathi Mhlongo le bhame iqhuma kuwena ngathi mina yebo bathi bacela babasafuna ibackup baze bafike ekuseni ngo4 ngoNkulunkulu emuhle akuvange kufe umuntu ngabe sengenza lento ethi iPolice Forum. So kushuthi ke ngayenza nezinduna na umphathi westation eDududu sasebenzisana ke bengicela nje icontainer bandla nje eyodwa ezofika nje eMkhunya noma amaphoyisa amabili noma amathathu kuze sireporte kubona. Kumanje sengisebenzile mina ngathi station commando ngikhona computer eDududu. Thank you.
Siyabonga baba. Olandelayo. Bengicela nifake ugogo lapho.
igama lami uNokufa Balweni. Ngiphume eMzumbe 20. Nginesicelo engisicelayo. Nginengane yomfana engenapasi. Bengicela usizo bantu baThixo. Ngoba kuzofika insuku zokuhamba emhlabeni asala hlupheke engenapasi. Sengike ngathi ngiyavela ngangamukeleki. Angazi noma usizo ngangizama nankosi yami. Ngiyazikhalela ngoba ngiyagula. Neinsuku zihambile. Ngithi ngicela ningisize bantu baThixo ukuthi athole ipasi nje akwazi uzifunda mase ngithulile. Iloko nje ngikhala ngako Nkosi. Cela sosicelo nje ngize kule ntaba nje.
Siyabonga gogo. Yebo. Bengicela ama officials. Bengicela ama officials akathintane nogogo okanye nimlethe la ngaphambili.
Sorry, come here. Okay. Ngiyabingelela. Igama lami nginguHarris ngwakamdlalo Sisibongo. Kuminister uMotswaledi ngiyacela nje ukuthi angixazulele nayi ingxaki enkulu eseyingiphathe iminyaka. Ngacisha ngashada ngenxa ukuthi unkosikazi washaya ipasi kwaze kwaba yizikhathi ezintathu kuya kwezu4 ipasi lingaphumi washaya eThekwini washaya eMzinto waphinda washaya ePortchepstein ehamba nobaba omzala kodwa kuthiwa ipasi liyanqaba ukuphuma libuyi waze wathola ipasi ngithe selishaya kwesihlanu oka5 ethola eMzumbe kuzovotwa lamapasi asuke ephuthunywa ngenxa ukuthi kuzovotwa uze umuntu angasali ngaphandle eseselungele lokuthi angavota walithola lelo pasi kuthe ethi uyobhalisa ingane kaSasa okwakuyingane yakhe yokuqala uSasa wamkhahlela ngeenyawo zombili wathi into evelayo la kuvela ukuthi wena unengane oyizale ngo99 and manje futhi usunengane ngo2000 indlela ostrong ngayo ngaleyo ndlela ke asikwazi ke ukuthi singakuvulela igrant engane yakho ngenxa ukuthi kunento engahlangahlangene la ingane zaze zabhaliswa yimi nguyise ngingafuni ukuyibhalisa ngaphansi kwami kodwa isimo sangiphoqa ngalinda iminyaka ewu4 ingane zingaholi ngenxa ukuthi ngiloko ukuthi ngiyadotsha and egcineni uma esethi uyovula iaccount kaStandard Bank ila indaba isiqhamuka khona isithi Standard Bank awukwazi ukuvula iaccount la Standard Bank ngenxa ukuthi wena unayi account eStandard Bank and account yakho ikhomba ukuthi une tavern enkulu eyinkulumalanga eseferriene Geng and uma sekulandelela lapho indaba lo tavern abase Standard Bank sathi abasilandelelele kwathola ukuthi kune ID eyashuthi ashaya ngayo ipasi iletho eyavula account ngayo khona eferriene Geng lo muntu owathola ID
Bengicela ukukuvala baba Bengicela ukuthi uze la ngoba luyaphuma la ngaphambili yabona nje eduze kwagogo ngoba luyaphuthuma lo daba lakho kufanele livele lusetshenzwe
Ngiyazibongela kushuthi kuyalunga
Yebo izala
Angibingelele iParliament ubangcani wakacwele eWard 34 phansi kweRenkonyeni mina ngokwami bengithi besicela ukuthi iminyango yonke yama department ikwazi ukuthi isivakashele kuma war room ukuze ngingabikho zonke lengcushunqusha eseyikhona ngoba uthola ukuthi kwamanye amawadi khuluma abantu nga10 nga7 ngoba abantu bomile bengicela ukuthi nje iminyango yonke siyawahlala ama war room ngosihlalo ku war room ngiyabonga
Siyabonga mama ngogcina wena sesoya lapha yana ke manje ngoba kukhona inotice engifumene ukuthi ungqongqoshe uphahla ufuna ukuthi akhawuleza responde ngoba khona umhlangano bayamdinga laba bemedia kumanje yebo
angibingelele igama Unhlakanipho Qwabe ngisuka eMzumbe kaWard 15 Mina nginesicelo la sokuthi kulekelelwe abantu abakhubezekile ekuqaleni amabhizinisi noma bafundiswe ukuze bazithuthukise njengabanye abantu abangakhubezekile. Okwesibili futhi ngicela ukuthi abantu abakhubazekile abanamakhono ngicela ukuthi nabo banakekele ukuze nabo baziveze emphakathini into abanayo ukuze babe nomthelelo ukuthi ke kwande umnotho lapha. Okay ngicela ukuthi futhi ke ukubuza ukuthi kwenziwa yini uma umuntu okhubazekile eyakudokotela obhalisa impesheni uma efika kasasa bathi no wona akwazi ukuthola impesheni angasiphi isizathu salokho ne. Yebo.
Siyabonga baba. Awukade umfowethu elindile le mic yaze yafika. Hey.
Ngicela ukubingelela igama ngusandile Mjoka ngiqhamuka eDududu phansi kwa 3 umdoni municipality. Sinenkinga lapha eDududu iclinic yethu ngaphambilini ibi operator 24 hours. Njengamanje iclinic ayisa operate ebusuku ngenxa yokuthi bahlaselwa yigebengu zantshontsha ama computer zahlasela nabahlengikazi ababekhona e-shiftini. Siyacela umnyango wezempilo usiqinisele security ukuze i-security i-clinic operate 24 hours ngoba ukufa eDududu sekunyukile manje ngenxa ukuthi i-clinic ayisebenze ebusuku. Siyacela uHome Affairs njengoba lapha evula amehlo wavalwa ngo-2016 kuhlanganiswa omasipala. Siyacela ukuthi baphinde basibuyisele ngoba kukude ePark Green. While sisalindile sicela ukuthi basilethele i-satellite Home Affairs ukuze kube kuqhubeka. Sinenkinga ngama-pick up point. MEC we-province u-Honorable Nomagugu Simelane wekhuluma ku-TV ukuthi fanele kwenziwe lama-pick up point ngoba amaklinika ayagcwala. Enziwe kama-application kodwa uchancel akabuyeli kubantu okuyena obhekelele zasogwini. Kunengane esinayo ewadini abazali bobabili bawo-deceased sengikho-Home Affairs. Bawo-deceased abazali bobabili. Umzali oyi-female waba u-deceased engenayo ngisho i-ID. Umzali oyi-male wenayo i-ID. Laba baka male mebezama ukuyoshayela ingane i-ID abaphumeleli ngenxa ukuthi kuthiwa ingane yaziwa unina lo nina u-deceased naye waba u-deceased engenayo i-ID. Lokho kwenza ingane ukuthi ingabi nayo i-ID isiqede ngisho ibanga le-12 lengane kodwa i-ID asinayo. Siyacela uHome Affairs ukuthi ungenelele kule nkinga ukuze abantu bakwazi ukusizakala. Ngiyathokoza.
Siyabonga. Ngicela uze la ngaphambili nawe baba. Uze la khona ubhuti la ola la lento ozilogqoke isuti nje. Yebo mama.
Angibingelele ngubuyiswa basi eHadingi kwa Ward 11 ngubuyiswa basi eHadingi kwa Ward 11 mina ngizocela njengokuthi khona abo MC nabo premier ukuthi lapha kule ndawo esiyakhele phase 1 phase 2 sinama ngawo nasogwini bemane bethi bazosiza asikaze sibone besisiza ilama toilet ayimigodi asegcwele ngangalendlela. Lesicelo saqala ukusicela from 2013 till now asikaze siluthola usizo kumane kuthiwa kuzozi plan manje bengicela ukuthi laba bakhulu abake basenzele iplan indawo esihleli kuyo asihlalise kabi lama toilet ngoba asegcwele ngangalendlela ukuthi abanye mabeyisiza sebeyisiza ehlathini. Ngiyabonga.
Wonke umuntu ongaphakathi kulendlu ebengicela ukuzokusho nje uwenda umthembu osuka emzwabantu from Ward 2. Yebo sinenkinga lapha kasasa uma uthi uyakhona bavela basitshela ukuthi network ayikho. So besicela ukuthi uminister uyibheke indaba ye-network njalo mesiya khona umuntu ugibela ngemali aye lapha kasasa ukuthi i-network ayikho. Phinde futhi siye lapha ku-Home Affairs owasemzwabantu siyacela bandla ukuthi basinikeze umshini lo kwenza ama-smart card ama-ID asinawo ama-smart card ama-ID mesiya lapha e-Home Affairs wasemzabantu basenzela ama-ID amadala so siyacela ukuthi singenelele kakhulu kuleyo ndawo siphinde singene kule department yaka-health ngicela ukuphamisa ukuthi wonke umuntu walapha emzwabantu ema-toilet esinawo ilama-toilet umuntu azimbela kuwona ambe kuwona ukuze akwazi ukuthi akhiphe udoti kuwona so sicela ukuthi nisisize ngama-toilet bakithi umzwabantu wonke u-1 wonke siyahlupheka ngama-toilet okunye kokugcina bengicela ukuthi wonke ama-department akasasa aka-Home Affairs ukuthi athende lapha kwasukuma sakhe kuwo room ngoba yiwona ngampela sishoda ngawo as ama-ward committees siyahluleka u-assist abantu ngoba amalokhuzana wasasa ba-attend siyabonga ba
igama ubongani isibongo wantaka umasipala orenkonyeni ka-Ward 32 mina bengithi ngifisa ukwazi ku-Home Affairs ukuthi uma ingane yenza ugrade 12 esikoleni ikhishwa kuthiwa izukubhala ngenxa yokuthi ayinayo i-ID imiphi imigudu ekufanele ilandele umzali okwesibili bengicela u-Home Affairs kusitholele ukuthi kwenzakalani ngo-Home Affairs oka-Ward 8 omakhelwane sawugcina usebenza manje sibona ungasasebenzi asathi inkinga ikephi bese ngiba nomphako engiwuphathisa iParliament ukuthi bengicela ukuthi la kuma-police stations ngeke sifakele amaphoyisa akhuluma i-sign language ngoba ave kubuhlungu ukubona umuntu ezocela usizo e-police station engalitholi ngenxa yokuba khona kwe-lack of communication kwiphoyisa nalosuke ezomangala ngiyabonga
Siyabonga baba. Olandelayo.
Ngisukuma nokunibingelela. Igama lami nguSindisani wakamache Sibongo ngisuka eWard 2 phansi komzwabantu. Manje ngizoqala ngako ilapha emanzini. Indaba yamanzi lama vatelikana abasilethela wona esinesikhalazo man. Eyaletha amanzi angcolile. Yabona nje izolo basilethelile kodwa mothi yabheka la amanzi wayinini abaphathiswa ngenzeni waphuze la amanzi because baletha amanzi angcolile and futhi enye into engizophinde ngiye kuyona ulapha kaSasa usasa lo semzwabantu mangabe umuntu uhamba ngewheelchair efuze uba ngene ngaphakathi ema-office ayikho indlela yokuhamba ngoba manje ama-lentozana indlela yakhona iyamastebhisi awukwazi ukuhamba nge-wheelchair so sicela ukuthi nje bake bazame ukuyilungisa indaba lapha kaSasa ehadingi and nabasebenzi bakhona babayeke ukuthi bebekhuluma nabantu umuntu athathe istress sakwakhe aze nasemsebenzini kunabanye abantu abangakwazi ukukhuluma kahle nabantu abadala umuntu avula amhafe nje noma kanjani umuntu omdala ngibe ngiphinde ngiye lapha lapha ka-Home Affairs lapho Home Affairs lapha emzwabantu ngike kwaba nenkinga yokuthi kuhlupa inetwork mangabe kuumuntu oshonele vele kuthiwe awukwazi ukwenza i-death certificate iye ePortshepstone uzoya kanjani ePortshepstone kuyibanga lingaka kuyimali wacabanga ngisuka le ehadingi ngizokwenza i-death certificate eShepstone ngizokhosteka imali ngiza la and futhi ngizothi ngiyafika ePortshepstone ugcwele ugcina sengasakwazi ukwenza kahle ilento ze-death certificate ngiphinde ngiye lapha kulezi ezempilo kulezi ezempilo lapha emzwabantu amaklinikhi ambala but isigodi ziningi yabona especially nje kulesigodi la ngihlala ngakhona eBashaweni yabona nje eBashaweni umpeshu usabele ubhidli fuze kuba leya ndawo ineklinikhi yawo kodwa sisebenza iklinikhi eyodwa nabantu bakanyuswa esiganseni ucabanga uma uthethwe itekisi ngo-8 yakusakhona le bose kufanele ubuye umuntu omdala akakwazi ukubuya because transport ayisekho transport ithathile abantu ihlele edolobheni umuntu omdala sihambe ecela ezimotweni zihambe zemshiya halfway akasakwazi ukufinyelela ekhaya ngiyabonga
Siyabonga mfethu dadewethu.
Igama lami nguZinhle ngwakaqwaba isibongo ngisuka ku-Ward 15 ngaphansi kwaRenkonyeni. Okwami ukuthi ama-toilet siyabonga siyafakelwa kodwa asinawo ama-toilet abantu abakhubazekile kwa-Ward 15. Kunezindawo lapho kufanele kufakelwe khona abantu ama-toilet ngale kokubheka ukuthi bese beke bawathola noma bakaze bawathole ngenxa yokuthi ama-toilet abawasebenzisayo awekho esimweni ama-toilet akhombisayo ukuthi kade ayesetshenziswa besicela futhi uhulumeni ukuthi mhlawumbe afakele imali ukuthi kushintshwe iskimu sasemzimkhulu nobhobhoyi ukuze sikwazi ukuthi sithola amanzi siphume kule scheme sasemngeni ngoba sona sikwazi ukusiphakela kahle sonke amanzi. Siphinde sicele la ukuthi kulaba ke abantu abafakile amanzi ngokungekho emthethweni okungenana bavele barejistwe bafakelwa amamitha bakhokhela amanzi yize ke imali yabo mhlambe besocela ukuthi ingabe seyiba imali kangako ukuze kukwazi ukuthi noma ubani abe namanzi. Kunezindawo ke futhi ezidinga ukuthi nje zifakwe amapayipi ezingenawo amapayipi okuyintshambili ichibini umvuzane nasemabheleni. Ngize lana kwa DOH ngicela ukubuza la ku Department of Health ukuthi ivolunteer livolunteer isikhathi esingakanani kusuka nini la uba khona ivolunteer kuphele nini la uba khona ivolunteer. Ngikusho ngoba lokho lapha ya sinama CHW ase volunteer for more than 12 years abakwazi baqasheke kodwa bayasebenza bayareporta futhi kwi war room. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga dadwethu.
Igama lami nguSithembile wakaKhwela kuWard 12 ngaphansi kuMzumbe Municipality. Esizocela kuHealth siyacela onompilo bakhushulelwe imali. Thina kaMlamula siyawubona umsebenzi wabo futhi siyababona nabo onompilo. Okwesibili siyacela undeli uclinic ubuyiswe ngaphansi kweScotsburg uyiswe ngasePortshepstone because iScotsburg isike ecaleni. Okwesithathu siyacela uDSD unezele abasebenzi ngoba amaward maningi. Okwesi4 siyacela basilungisele indaba yakwaSasa oThuthwini. KaSasa baqala ngo9 ukusebenza. Ngale kwa1 abasasebenzi bazokutshena ukuthi system ilow. Ugcine uphinda ugoduka ungasasetshenzwanga. Kumanje nginengane ena 5 months ingaholi. Ngijika khona kaSasa ngaze ngagcina sengigive up. And siyacela uHome Affairs wasothuthwini awashayi amakhadi lawa eID basithumela ePortshepstone. ePortshepstone kuyagcwala sigcine sesingasawenzi amakhadi lawa eID. La esifesa khona sekudingakala amakhadi lawa eID. Othuthwini abawenzi siyacela nisilungisele nalokho ukuze sikwazi ukushaya oID khona. Siyabonga.
Siyabonga. Chief Director now usisi losukayo ngicela attend please.
Okhulumayo uncamisile Mbotho endaweni yase Hardingi phansi kwamasipala umzwabantu iward 11. La bengizocela isicelo kwaSasa wase Hardingi unezitebiso asikwazi ungena thina abantu abakhubazekile kuona. Sicele futhi nokuthi angathi ungaku usondezwe edrobheni uphindele edrobheni ukude kakhulu nedorobha mangabe kwenzeka kunento ezokususa kwaSasa ikuse kwaHome Affairs sihamba indlela ende kanti sikhubazekile asikwazi ukuhamba. Ngiphinde ngizocela la amanzi ebantwini abakhubazekile besicela ngathi sebangasakhela amanzi emagcekeni or basanzele oJojo wenzela ukuthi ngoba manje mangabe siya lapha empompini bayasiphusha labantu abaphilayo asikwazi ukukha amanzi thina esikhubazekile. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga dadwethu. Mfethu
sanibonani. Lo khulumayo uVictor wakaHlophe ward 15 kaMadlala eReinkonyeni. Okokuqala ngibonga ukuthi sigcine silitholile ithuba nathi kade sibone ngathi asibalekile kulomhlangano. Lengizoqala khona ngiqale ukuthi sixolise ukuthi sibonakale ngathi thi sibantu ababehavior wrong. Kodwa kungenxa yendlela esibona siphatheke ngayo because mesithi sobona kulokuphinda ke labantu umuntu azakhonjwa azaphindwe kabili singakaze sisho lutho kukhomba ukuthi nasamukelekile emhlanganweni umhlangano wetafula. Kodwa ke futhi ke ngiyaqala lokho namhlanje sike sihambe emhlangano ngiyaqala lokho namhlanje ukuthi kube nezindlela eziningi zokubamba umhlangano ukuthi we gcine kuthiwa sophakamisa izandla silindele ukuphakamisa izandla sabona sekunama queue sahlala salinda sisazokhonjwa end of the day sesitshela ukuthi sekuyaphuthunwa ngoba elanga selishonile ngoba vele sivalelwe khona nokusho ukuthi into ebalekile ukuthi abasebenzayo beze la bezobala ukuthi bayasebenza bahole ekugcineni kosuku. And ngithi ngiyawubuka umsebenzi owenziwe la ngithola ukuthi ukule budget yale ikhalo esikhala ngazo ukuthi izinto asinazo kodwa kune budget mangathi kuthiwa silandele nje la lo mcimbi njengoba ungaka ukuthi imalini eweswe ngalo mcimbi obonakala ungasabalekile kuma officials zethu ungathola ukuthi ngaphezulu kwemali mhlambe ebeyingadingwa yimina emphakathini wakithi ka Ward 15. Lokho ngikushiswa yini akuve ngoba kuyini ngikushiswa indlela engibona umhlangano sohendlishwa ngayo because sekunali yanto yokudonsisana engathi umhlangano ubona ngathi awusabalekile into ebalekile ama officials zethu ngoba ayalithola ithuba lokukhuluma now and then uthi ekhuluma okhulumayo kube khona ombhekhayo okhuluma edonsa imic sibukile silaphansi kwi ground level uthola ukuthi umuntu uyadonsa mefuna ukuphawula naye ufuna ukuphawula ukuthi na asitshele yakhe information for next time bengabe niza kuthina bekungangcono noma kube kuhle menzoqale nikhokase then bese niza kuthina nizositshela into eyi1 ukuthi senze into eyi1 mangabe ukuthi phakanyiswe izandla kuphakanyiswe izandla mekubanjwe queue kubanjwe queue ningasitshela izinto ezimbili ngesikhathi esisodwa. Okay, sengidlulela ke manje ku Home Affairs. Home Affairs benginesicelo noma sinesicelo ka Ward 15 sinalo ioffice la Home Affairs ka Ward 15 MPCC.
Ward 15 wakuphi konje?
Ward 15 ngithe under inkonyeni ma. Ungathuki ma. Ungathuki kakhulu mhlambe ngikhuluma ngiphakamisa ngazi.
Angithukanga. Angithi indawo yami phela mina le.
Okay mama. Ward 15 kwaMadlala phansi kwa inkonyeni. Le ngidishwa khona ngidishwa inkosi uMadla ngiphansi kwenkosi uMadlala. Home Affairs likhona ioffice alisebenzi sekunesikhathi lavalwa uma livaliwe insiza kusebenza azikho sesizame saphindelela even inkosi uqobo izabi yabiza Home Affairs bafika egcineni lokho kuthiwa nje hayi no asilindi province yona efanele ithathe isinqumo okugcina nje ngiye khona lapha eHome Affairs ngikhumbula kahle kwathiwa asenze email then bazobe sebeyitransfera kwi-province ebesingakakwenzi ke phezulu kwemizamo eminingi ebesiyenzile i-office kade livele lisebenza. Okwesibili okay okwesibili kune program la eyavalwa komasipala ngingathi komasipala esinganaqonda nakwazi ukuthi kwenzakalani kuzivala iprogram yabantu abahlwempu sihlala emphakathini exakekekile nathi vele sihlwempu kodwa sihlala ebantwini ukuthi khona abantu abahlwempu okudlula thina like end up akubonakala sekufanele ikhansela lishaya iphakethe kuze umuntu akazi ukufihlwa. Kune program eyayikhona eyagcina isivaliwe omasipala singazange ukuthi konakala uma ingabuyela leya program eminye yemndeni yayisisi engibona ukuthi bekade ingasiza namanje mayingabuyela ngoba bakhona abantu abahlwempu omunye uthole ngempela ukuthi akanalutho ofanele uzokhiphe wena ephaketheni nawe ungenalutho. Angazi noma kukhona nile ungasilekelela khona beungasilekelela khona umasipala ezintweni ezifana nalezo bese ngiye kule amanzi ngesihanda ukuyakuyona ngoba abantu bayakhuluma ngayo akukho abakubongayo. Amanzi siyabonga siyawabona ama-truck nakuba singawadinga ama-truck ngoba siwabona ama-truck siwabona ngoba ezosilekelela asiwaboni as-if kuyinto efanele ukuthi ngabe iyasisiza emapipe ekhona emhlabathini efathi ngaba silethela amanzi. Ama-truck akhona ukuba khona kwama-truck kodwa kuthina kugcina sekufaka i-challenge nengcindezi emphakathini esakhele kuyona ukuthi igcine sebefona bathi amanzi asinawo. Uma bethi amanzi abanawo abantu
ngicela ukhulume baba.
Hayike ningixolele Nkosi yami mina umuntu mengabe efuna ukukhuluma nami ngeke ngimnike ithuba ngoba nami nginikiwe ithuba. Uma nginikwe ngephutha fanele asho ukuthi nginikwe ngephutha ngihlale phansi. Amanzi mangabe fika ama-truck afika abadelivela abantu amanzi kodwa ekubonakala egcinele engaseneli hayi ukuthi awekho engaseneli ingakho ngithi ngiyabonga ngoba akhona wona ama-truck ayafika kodwa agcine engaseneli ubone ngathi abantu banaleyo ndawo ngamanzi ukuthi amanzi. Then the worst part sasila mhlambe ngoJune ngikhumbula ukuthi sasikhona la kukhona obaba uzikalala bekhona bonke obaba umchunu sakhuluma la kwakahle kwangathi izinto zizolunga and lento egcina seyisikhatha nomasipala bethu ngoba kufika abantu mebefika bezosebenza befika bafike bakhulume bathi kusasa yonke into iyalunga banqande bahambe bafulathele ayisalungi into sekufanele siphusha amakhansela siphushe omasipala ngiyabonga ngiyamazi unkosazana ukuthi vele uyajuluka mase uyeqinisweni ngikaxolisa nkosazana ngicela ukukudedela ngikunika indawo yakho nkosazana ngibongile
Rules. Thank
Sabona, my name is Ibrahim Sheikh, Ward 13, Hibatin. I want to start with the issue of water because I was not given the opportunity earlier on to discuss water. Number one, I want to thank Ugu Municipality and especially Deputy Mayor Gia, especially Municipal Manager, Mr. Mtombele, for responding to us when we needed them. It is important for me to also put on record the good things that the departments are doing. But I'm coming with the bad things. When Honorable Minister Senzo Mchunu came down here in June 24th, he insisted on forming a war room to solve the problem. And one of the advantages of the war room was that there will be feedback from the war room to the people, because the people were in the dark. Unfortunately, the minister has left. I was going to direct a question to him and let him know that his war room is failing. My attention that the war room for water is having meetings every week and there are minutes of these meetings, but I have not seen one report. I have not seen one report from this war room. And I talk on behalf of many citizens when I say there is not one report from the war room. Where are these reports? So in that regard, Minister Senzo, Honorable Minister Senzo Chunu has failed us. His solution is not working because the solution was to give us information, information, as Ibon. Port Edward does not have water, Ramsgate does not have water, Margate does not have water. Ngamanje amanzi awekho laphana. That is regarding water. Let's deal with Home Affairs. With regards to Home Affairs is obviously the most corrupt of them all. It is easier for somebody from overseas to penetrate the border and get an ID in 3 weeks, and an African child of this country will wait for 1 year for an ID. And it must be told to Parliament that this is not something new. It's going on for 28 years. When are we going to deal with this issue that there are people that can come here and they can buy their IDs tomorrow, but our children are being rejected as Kholen? The teachers are saying, Pindane Kaya as phone la birth certificate, reports. Our children are being sent home from school because they don't have birth certificates, but you can cross the border and you can get an ID tomorrow. When are we going to deal with this issue? As far as health is concerned, there has been some improvement, but I want to bring something to Parliament's attention. 20% of our students in the rural areas are suffering from eyesight problems. The research has been done, the information is out there. What are we doing about these children who are studying in the candlelight and their eyes are being damaged? And we want to educate our children, but they are studying with candles and their eyes are being damaged. Why are we not helping these students with eye problems with glasses to go to school? They cannot afford it. The cheapest glasses is 400 Rand. I've done the research. If we are going to educate our children, the Department of Health needs to look into the eyesight problem of the students. The students are our future. Department of Health, please take note. Parliament, please take note, 20% of our children have eye problems. Last but not least, I left the best one for last. You know when you're eating supper, you leave the meat for last. I looked at the program for this whole week. I see Department of Health and DST and Agriculture and CPF and all of that planned. Where is the Department of the Presidency? Where is the Department of the Presidency? So I don't know whether this is the platform and now is the time to deal with it, but I will just put the question out there. It's a question. Why is the President not in jail? The question comes under the context of the fish rots at the head. If the head is rotten, the entire structure will be rotten. The last one is on ESCOM. I don't know why we have not dealt with ESCOM, when we're going to deal with ESCOM. But since Parliament is here today, I am calling for Deruta to be removed. I'm asking Parliament to look into Deruta being removed from ESCOM. He is causing pain and suffering. He is hindering economic advancement. He is hindering transformation. He is hindering progress in this country, and he is taking us backwards. Deruta must fall. Thank you very much.
Sanibonani.
Yebo baba.
Ujabu wakaXaba Ward 11 emzwabantu. Ngicela ukwehlisa umoya nje bese ngiphakanyela umoya kakhulu ukuthi singemukelwa la kuleli cala. Bese sengifisa nokubambana ngezandla kodwa ngiyabonga ngwangigcine ngilitholile ithuba. Sisalile kulethuba lamanzi sangakhonjwa ngoba kusho ukuthi ngapha sihlale kabi. Ethubeni lamanzi ngicela ukuthi uma ngaba kwenziwa amanzi noma kwakhelwa umuntu okhubazekile asondezelwe indlu yakhe ibe neremp yonke bese afakelwe ithangi liconnectwe ngaphakathi endlini kwenzela ukuthi makuphela amanzi awathole yena engayanga kude ngoba amanzi aphela la kule strata wekho akhona kulesi singapha ipipe liqashukile yena akasakwazi ukusebenzisa indlu yangasese akasakwazi futhi nokuthi athola amanzi aqhubeke nempilo yakhe. Ngibuyele kuwona futhi ama toilet aflashwayo lama toilet aflashwayo angazi ukuthi akheke kanjani achithekela ngaphandle indle igcwele egcekeni noba ngabe uyahamba uyaya kadokotela uye ekliniki uyozelapha akelapheki ngoba ubuyela kulento akade esuke kuyo ekade yoyelapha yafike yangenzeki. Siyacela ukuthi ke nisibhekelele kuleyo ndawo eWard 11 kule VD engasesathini niphinde niyosibhekelela kwiVD eseMawunebo eWard 11 ama toilet wabantu abakhubazekile asondele angasale sebakude ngoba akakwazi ukuhamba ngenqola eyakuwona akakwazi ukuhamba ngama crashes eyakhona avamise ukwenziwa ngezansi komuzi ke ama toilet emakhaya abese yena amasese kunodaka akasakwazi ukuya akasakwazi ukubuya mekwazile ukuya ezansi akasakwazi ukubuya sefanele siphume sonke somlando. Ngiyadlula lapho ngiza la ke manje ku social kuma grant sinenkinga lapha ya kwasasa umuntu okhubazekile ufika namhla ngalonyaka ayivuselele aphinde anikeze isikhashana esithile kuthiwa akazovuselela. Umbuzo wami umile uthi konje njengoba ekhubazekile nje mhlawumbe kutheme ithola la in between imali yamlapha yini ukuthi wabuyela esimeni waphinde kuphinde kuzoba khona umuntu othola imali yokukhubazeka ngoba elimele noma eginqeke nemoto wephuka wanikezwa imali yegrant ngoba engeke akwazi ukusebenza.
kuthiwa akabuya azoyivuselela still usake ezinhlungwini still akakwazi ukuhamba kungaba ile mali imenzile yini ukuthi akabuyele esimeni sakhe okwesithathu okwase home affairs home affairs ngicela ukubuza home affairs kukhona into othi mawuyile khona ufike namhlanje kuthiwa sisebenzi siyashadisa asishayi pasi uphuma ugoduke ubuye uyafika kugcwele uyafika naba abantu bagcwele ingane iphinde emvinga ishayanga iID ngiyacela ukuthi uHome Affairs akowenze lento yokuvisita izikolo onyakeni ukuthi afike kuthiwe ngalonyaka sishaya ama-ID ukuze kusuke nomphakathi uzongenelela ufike ushaya ama-ID kuphunguke lwamthwalo wenzeka eHome Affairs okwesithathu ikliniki emzwabantu awu2 eward level kunelaphaya ekuthiwe yamasipala kuzobe yasegateway eyasegateway ke esesibhedlela yile ufike ngo6 ushawu 9 ungasetshenzwanga kuze kuqala ukusetshenzwa ngo2 kuthi kuyasuka bathi bayetiyeni bathi bayasuka bathi bagodu kuthiwe nobuya kusasa nangu uzoxukuza lo nangu uzogula lo aphuma hamba godu ulethile ingane ukuthi izosiza igoduka ingane ingasizwanga what's the use of clinic yini into ethi angiyisiwe clinic kanti angizivele ngizobuya ngasizakalanga kanti imali yokuya kadokotela anginayo ingakho ngize eclinic ngiyafika esibhedlela kuthiwe bekufanele uqale eclinic le iclinic engihlale kwashonilanga ngihleli kuyona okugcina sengiyisicelo ke lesi ngiyacela nina abaphezulu ngisacela ukuthi ke nisinikeze itransport yabantwana baye ezikolweni izikolo zincane lapha ya emzwabantu inhlekelele nje sicishe sayibona namhlanje size esikoleni abantwana behlonywe njengotshani emotweni mabenganje pheze bekuzoba iphuthe likabani siyacela nisinikeze itransport abantwana bakwazi ukuya ezikoleni niphinde nizosifakela ihigh school lapha ya siyabonga ngiyabonga
Siyabonga mama. Yebo baba.
Ngibingelele abaholi bethu, ngibingelele umphakathi wonke okhona. Usandile wakanzama osuka kumzwabantu uward 6. Ayiwokwama ukuningi ke kakhulu. Ngizocela nje kubaphathi bethu ukuthi sicela laphana kuward 6 sicela ikliniki laphana kuward 6 asinayo and futhi mawubheka kumzwabantu masipala wakhona iyona ward kuphela engenayo ikliniki iward yethu yakhiwe igodi eziwu8 so ngacabanga ke nawo bale abantu abalapho ukuthi bangakanani kuyaphoqa ukuthi mangabe uya ekliniki uhambe kunane enye nje udlula ehlathini ngoba ikude ufanele uvuke ekseni udlula kuyona kusemnyama akuphephanga amanye kufanele ugibele moya kona usebenzisa imali enkulu moya kona so nje njengoba ngithi isicelo sekliniki ngiphinde ke ngingele la ngizocala nje ukuthi ngibe ngihlanganise ngebhande elilodwa lo mnyango wakasasa nowaka Home Affairs. Cabanga ukuthi abantu abaningi bakhulume mawuthi siyaqaphelisisa bakhuluma ngento eyodwa. Unganeliseki indlela leminyango esebenza ngayo. Ake siyacela ukuthi abaholi bethu ake bayibheke leminyango. Ngoba kunento nje esobala enzekalayo. Yabona mawuya khona la kuleminyango. Nje into ewuchuku nje oluncane. Bakunikeza ilentozana information. Kodwa bakunikeza information ephelele lento yenza ukuthi uzothi uyafika namhlanje kasasa uthiwe futhi buya kusasa ufike naloko kuthiwe buya nako bakutshela okunye futhi uthi buya naloko So nje ake bathi umuntu mayifika bamnikeze information ephelele ukugwema lento ukuthi umuntu lokuthiwa akabuya akabuya. Ake. Ngoba amanzi ngisatholanga ithuba lawo. Ngizosala sengidlula nje kodwa nake phela amanzi wona. Bese sizocela nathi lapha amabhoholi bani. Sinayo lento le ebizwa ngeyigwedlo ngazi noma wona yena amabhoholi la sina sibiza ngeyigwedlo ngale emakhaya. Eyayakhiwe kudala. Siyacela ke kuleyo nto ukuthi sifake lo phampu ngoba kukhombisa ukuthi amanzi akhona. Inkinga ukuthi usebenzisa amandla. Lawa futhi amani kakhulu ziqinile. Nanokuthi ke iplan nje sobala. Ngoba le yanto iphuma amanzi mawugwedla kanje. Mawungafakwa nje into merry go round la. Amanzi angayiphumela. Izingane esikhathi zidlala la amanzi ayaphuma. Mhlawumbe lo ngenza ukuthi mhlawumbe umphakathi ungawasweli kakhulu amanzi. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga baba. Bengicela ungqongqoshe Dr. MJ Phahla ngqongqoshe wezempilo sizwile kukhulunywa kakhulu ingakho ngibiza wena kuqala.
Thank you very much, Siyabonga mphathi wohlelo. Ngihamba no HOD wezempilo la KZN, uDokotela uShabalala. He's the one who will respond to some of the details. Ithi ngiqale umnomzana lana uSimo Msane. Bengizocela umnomzana ukuthi basiqeda lana abanane no Dokotela Shabalala. Umnomzana Msane icomplain yakhe nje ukuthi abantu aba disabled baya discriminate kwezinye ama clinics. I think he gave an example of HOD Scotsburg, with people who are disabled are being discriminated. So bengizocela ukuthi umbone after this engagement. I will not go into each one of the speakers, or otherwise it's going to take a long time. I think there's a common issue mayelana ne-Port Shepstone Hospital negama lakhe CHC. Kuna a number of people abakhulumile nje bacomplaina ukuthi they are being referred bacela ukuthi baye egama lakhe CHC instead of Port Shepstone. Now, the reason why it's like that, it's because Port Shepstone regional hospital. So ngeke kwazi nje ukuthi ibone wonke umuntu ogulayo in the nearby areas. That's why kunama CHC nama clinics ukuthi depending ukuthi ugula kakhulu kanjani uqale kwi clinic noma kwi CHC or ya indawo encane bakubone o sister nabo doctor ushilo omunye umama nje ukuthi la khona la egama lakhe o doctor bakhona. So it's in order to make sure ukuthi isibhedlela esiphezulu esifana nePort Shepstone sibe for i-referral umuntu ogula kakhulu olimele kakhulu akwazi ukuthi asizwe khona esibhedlela esiphezulwana ufana noPort Shepstone. So that's why I think abaningi abacomplain nje ukuthi amanye ama-clinics instead of referring people to straight ukuthi baye ePort Shepstone babathumela egama lakhe CHC. That's really to make sure ukuthi i-system isebenze kahle ePort Shepstone kungagcwale kakhulu kufike ngokuthi noma kufika umuntu ogula kakhulu bangakwazi ukuthi bambheke. So that's really to help umphakathi. Kukhona indawo eziningi la ikhulume sicela ukuthi kube khona i-clinic kufana no boy ama-ward amaningi eRenkonyeni kodwa kakhulu umzi wabantu. There are a number of wards la kucelwa khona ukuthi kube ne-clinic. What I can explain lana nje kufana no ubani okhulume egcineni lana ukhulumele lana uSandile wase Ward 6 umzi wabantu. Ngakuchazela nje ukuthi asikwazi nje ukuthi every ward ushile nje ukuthi umzi wabantu ngathi leyo iward yakho iward 6 iyo nje kuphela engana clinic. Angithembe nje ukuthi wonke ama ward anama clinic wawo ngoba asikwazi ukuthi every ward ibe ne clinic. We try to organize services so that everybody at least abe nayo service. That's why kukhona also nama mobile clinics akwazi nje ukuthi ahambele indawo esihlukene. So that's why we have such services. Abaningi bakhulumile nje ukuthi many of the clinics awasebenze nje 24 hours or 7 days a week. Abanye bashile nje ukuthi most of this is because of shorter staff. Loku iqiniso nje ukuthi asikwazi futhi ukuthi wonke ama clinic we try to organize a service so that ama ward at is brought together in every number of maybe 2-3 clinics. There must be one as of 24 hours and 7 days. But sometimes I'm trying to see what you one of the clinics they 24 hours. Kodwa ngenxa yodlame le clinic ayisakwazi nje ukuthi isebenze 24 hours ngoba o sister ama nurse nabasebenzi they get attacked by criminals. From Department of Health siyazama nje ukuthi kube khona security. Most of especially our 24-hour clinics security iba khona kodwa asikwazi nje ukuthi every clinic especially la angasebenzi 24 hours abe ne security. But I think also it's a challenge kuthina abaholi bomphakathi as abaholi nje whether we are political leaders, community leaders. It's quite an indictment in our society ngoba nama ambulance aya attackwa now. So siyacala nje ukuthi sisebenzisane nomphakathi sizozama ukuthi abe khona o security kuma clinic kodwa asikwazi nje ukuthi every clinic ibe ne security. Basebefikile most of these thugs are very well armed and it's not possible always ukuthi even if ikona security ikwazi nje ukuvikela if sekufike laba phethe ibhamu esikhulu ibhamu. So siyacala nje ukuthi sebenzisane nomphakathi concerning ama community health workers. Khona umama nje oshile nje ukuthi kunama community health workers or asebenza as volunteers for more than 10 years. I think naloko nje we can take it up with the province ngoba that's not really umthetho okhona. If umuntu usesebenza isikhathi esiningi kufanele ukuthi afakwe kwi at least abe ne stipend kube khona imali ayitholayo abe registered with the department athole i stipend ezomnikeza at least a minimum wage the 3,500. We are still busy with the negotiations with the labor in the chamber to make sure that there can be a better permanent dispensation kuma community health workers. Concerning young people abana problem eyesight, we do have a school health program which visits the schools, and amongst the things which are tested is the eyesight. If there are those who have been missed, we will be happy if they can be brought so that they can be attended to. As I've said, every point by point, kodwa ngizocela umphathi wohlelo nje ukuthi banikeze uDr. Shabalala mhlambe just 2 minutes na athi nje kuphefumula answer 1 or 2 issues esifuna nje a direct response. Now you better notes. I'm just asking Chair if the HOD can just get 2 minutes also just to say a few things on some of the direct issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Minister, may I just go straight into some of the things that were mentioned? Okokuqala, kukhulunywe ngendaba yama-files ukuthi kulukhuni kwathola inkinga esiyaziyo esiyivumayo ingako kukhona iprogram esinayo yokuzama ukulungisa i-filing within the department as a whole, including, Minister, i-system esethwa u-National Department of Health ebizwa nge-HPRS. So sizama ukulungisa lokho ukuthi ama-file kube lula ukuthi siwathole okokuqala, okwesibili angalahleki. Leyo kathendwa kwama war room. Sorry ma'am. Eyokathendwa kwama war room ngicabanga ukuthi kufanele siyilandele ngokwethu uDepartment of Health uya attenda kodwa sizokulandela ukuthi kwenzeke ngendlela. Kukhona abakhale ngenkinga za hygiene environment. Ngicabanga ukuthi umasipala kufanele sibhekane nawo. Uministry uyithintile eyama volunteer ne-eyesight namakliniki engicabanga ukuthi abantu bakhala ngawo. Okunye sizosho ukuthi njengoba siyithathile information sizokulandela nga one kukhona udistrict manager sizoqhubeka siyilandele eminye imibuzo ukuze siyiphendule directly. Ngicela ukuma kuleyo kodwa ngifisa ukudlula Minister kule eyalaba abathi uma bona bekhubazekile baya discriminatewa. Siyafisa futhi ukuyithola directly leyo information ukuze sidile nayo directly. Okokuqala, okwesibili nalabo abathi ama wheelchairs abo abayinkinga. Ama wheelchairs ungayithola kwa Department of Health, ungayithola i-wheelchair ku DSD depending ukuthi yipi department ekunikile. Kodwa sicela ukuthi uma senakekelwa ama repairs siyawenza siu Department of Health ama wheelchairs umuntu angalindi ukuthi wheelchair izibe yimbi ngaleyo ndlela siyacela ukuthi sibambisana ke kuloko ngale kwaloko minister ngicabanga ukuthi okuningi oku operational nama clinic angasebenzi ngendlela abantu abafisa ngayo ekuyizinto esizozilandela sizilungise ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Ngicela ukubiza ungqongqoshe uLindwe Zulu ukuthi azophendula ama issues kakhulukazi uzophendula ama issues ebamsene noSASSA ngoba khona ama issues amaningi aberezelwa kwaSASSA and then bazobe kube sekulandela I department ya social development socela uHOD asondele ngoba umphathiswa ilizwe aliphumi okwamanje ushelwe lilizwe.
Sanibonani protocol observed kuba hlonishwa abakhona la ngaphambili sanibonani mphakathi wasogwini siyabonga kakhulu nelisiwe vilakazi kwa social development ngizophendula imibuzo ebibhekiswe kumnyango wezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi njengoba eseshilo program director lene ebhekiswe kwaSASSA umhlonishwa uZulu uzokwazi ukuthi ayiphendule leyo. Ukhona umbuzo oke wavela kumbaba uNjakazwa seWard 23 mayelana nomntwana okhubazekile ukuthi umntwana uthi mayiseqede esikoleni bese uthola ukuthi akasakwazi ukusizakala uqhubeka ukuya phambili. Siyafisa ukuthi mhlambe ngoba sizamile ukubhala imininingwane yakhe ukuze silandelele loyo mntwana kodwa singakuphakamisa ukuthi uma ngabe umntwana ekhubazekile efunda isikole uyakwazi ukuxhaseka nangawo umnyango wezemfundo azalekelelele nangama assisting devices ukuze akwazi ukuthi angabi nenkinga ukuthi uyafunda kodwa ke manje lona sidinga ukuthi sithole more imininingwane ukuze sizokwazi ukulekelela umndeni siuxhumanisa nanomnyango wezemfundo ngendlela efanele. Ngiyafisa ukusho ukuthi noma ngabe umntwana uyahamba uya mhlambe esikhungweni esemfundo ephakeme through umnyango wezemfundo ophakeme bayalekelela abantwana lapho kanjalo kodwa futhi sinoma protective workshops amabili la ogwini axhaswayo umnyango wezokuthuthukiswa komphakathi. Ama protective workshop ila abantu abadala benza khona imisebenzi ezandla bese beyakwazi ukulekelela ukuthi njalo ngenyanga kube khona abakutholayo. So ilo mbuzo kade ubuziwe bese kuba khona omunye umbuzo obukade ubhekise in particular ngama CNDC khona uhlelo lethu esithi ama community nutrition and development centers ukuthi ikhona eyayikade ikhona eMdoni sase siyayivala enye kusho ukuthi uhlelo lwakhona ngokusebenzisana nomasipala savumelana ukuthi kufanele kube khona eyodwa kumasipala nomasipala ukuze kungabi khona umasipala onamabili omunye umasipala ungabi khona. So ulelo hlelo njalo nanokuthi ama CNDC ngomthetho suke kuuhlelo lwesikhashana ukuthi lulekelele kulowo ndawo ukuze abantu bakwazi ukuthola ukudla lapho ngoba kusuke kukhethwa indawo la abantu bempofu khona kakhulu bese bayakwazi ukuthi basizakale. Kodwa ke mhlambe siyadinga ukuthi usuchazele kabanzi kumphakathi ngoba siyabona ukuthi mhlambe abachazele kahle. Bese kokugcina ke kukhona kulokuvela esithi sicela ukuthi uSASSA noHome Affairs afike ema-war room. Ngiyafisa ukubakhulumela ngoba ngibuya ka social development ukuthi akukho possible ukuthi uSASSA noHome Affairs babe khona njalo la kuma-war room mawubuka umsebenzi abawenzayo kodwa kufanele ema-war room kube nohlelo lokurefer coordinate izinto eziwadingayo lama departments kufana ngisho nango Department of Education ngoba akakwazi ukuthiwa khona uthisha ngeke uhlele e-war room but fanele kuma-war room kube nendlela of coordinating umsebenzi odinga lama departments bese ziyabuya impendulo ukuthi lo njoba nani reportile ukuthi kunale nkinga isiyenziwe because kunendlela ecoordinatewa ngayo umsebenzi odinga ukuthi kwenziwe osukulethwe lapha e-war room. Ngiyabonga kakhulu, ngicabanga ukuthi lezo impendulo ebeyithinta thina. Siyabonga.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu program director. Ngiphinde ngibonge uHOD oqeda ukuphendula nje imibuzo ekhona la. Ngixolise ukuthi uMEC uphethwe umkhuhlane akakwazi ukuthi asukuma akhulume, ningabe senithi ufikile nje wangasho lutho. Izwi lakhe limlahlekele njengoba nelami seliya ngakhona, ngibona ngathi usengithelele umkhuhlane. Okokuqala ngicela ukusho ukuthi mangilalele la ngibona ukuthi ingathi indaba zabantu abakhubazekile ziningi kakhulu. Many of the questions abuziwe la were related to people with disability, which therefore means kuzofuneka ke sibheke kahle ukuthi kwenzeke njani ukuthi kube nabantu abaningi kangaka abangalitholi nosizo kulabo abangalitholi usizo. Kodwa ke ngiye ngathatha nesikhashana ngakhuluma nabo lapha laba bebehleli khona. Ngicabanga ukuthi MEC no HOD ne local government, because size la ngokuthi si national government but siyazi ukuthi umsebenzi omningi kufuneka wenziwe yi local government, ama local structures, because yibo abantu enibonana nabo ngaso sonke isikhathi. Thina siza ngalesikhathi la sizophendula khona silethwe iParliament. Ngiphinde ngithi futhi I think okumqoka ukuthi iParliament iyasibuza the same questions enisibuza lemibuzo enisibuza yona yimibuzo esiyibuzwa iParliament, okusho ukuthi njengoba bekhona namhlanje beze nathi la, ngiyethemba ukuthi bazoqhubeka belokhu besibuza ukuthi senzani ngalezi zinto abasibuze ngazo. Kuyajabulisa ke ukuthi at least sintshene ukuthi vele bona bayasigijimisa abaseParliament. Wonke lama member niwabona ahlelile asibuze eParliament uba nenzani lokhu nalokhu nalokhu. Ngibona ukuthi imibuzo eminingi kuzofuneka ukuthi singayiphenduli yonke namhlanje, kodwa iParliament esikwazi ukuyiphendula sibanikeze impendulo la singakwazanga khona ukuphendula. Ngicela ke futhi nokuthi ama local structures kufuneka kube umsebenzi wawo omkhulu ukuthi babe nale contact between national, provincial and local, because into enokwenza ukuthi sometimes izinto zingahambi kahle siyadonsisana. Sometimes we hayi le kufuneka yenziwe national, le kufuneka yenziwe province, whereas kufuneka kube ne coordination. Abantu laba engikhulume nabo bakhuluma kakhulu, bakhala kakhulu ngamanzi, bakhala kakhulu nge-attention abangayitholi emahhovisini mabefika. In fact bakhulume kancane la. Mangikhuluma nabo lapho bangizwise ubuhlungu ngoba bathi mabefika emahhovisini, whether amahhovisi weSASSA or amahhovisi we-social development namanye nje amahhovisi in general, i-attitude yabantu abasebenza emsebenzini ababi ne-attitude e-right for bona. Ngiyacela ke kuma officials akhona la kuzofuneka ukuthi nina niyama officials ngoba nikulama hhovisi okhulunywa ngawo, kube yini enithi maybe sithi senze some education or senze some something nje ezofundisa abantu abasebenza emahhovisini ukuthi abantu abakhubazekile kufuneka baphathwe kanjani mabefikile emahhovisini. Esikhathini esiningi abantu abana patience for bona, and akuyona into e-right leyo ukuthi singabi ne-patience ngoba nabo ababizanga ukuthi babe kule state abakuso. Baphinde futhi bakhale ke nanokuthi nasemakhaya izindlu abahlala kuzo zivele zakhelwe abantu abakwazi ukuba ne-mobility abamuvayo, and then uthola ukuthi ama-wheelchair wabo nalezi zindlu abazakhelwa uhulumende azithathi into consideration their challenge. Okunye ke futhi abakhulume ngako, ake ngithi nje ukukhuluma ngabo kakhulu, ngoba bakhulume nanendaba yokuthi makufike imoto ezilethe amanzi kuleyo ndawo la kulethwa khona amanzi kuyaphushwana and then uthola ukuthi bona ba end up abangasawatholi nokuwathola lawo manzi. Okokuqala nje I think siyabantu nje ake siyeke nje siyabantu nje ngokubona kwami kufuneka sibacabangele nathi nabo bayofuna amanzi sazi ukuthi abanawo lamandla lawa esinawo thina masifika lapha bese siyabaphusha senza konke lo ngoba phela umsebenzi wethu suhulumente umsebenzi ukuthi sebenzisane nomphakathi. Ngakho ke ngiyacela nomphakathi nihambe nibacabangela nabo mabefika bazofuna amanzi. Kodwa ke MEC we social development thina si department ye social development ngoba we are responsible for the well-being of our people. Kufuneka sibakhulumele na kwi department ye water because ngaba khona umehluko maybe amanzi masazi ukuthi nje la kunomuntu ohlala okhubazeke kakhulu kungcono ukuthi amanzi alethwe la endlini la ehlala khona. Ngiyazi ukuthi imali kwayona leyo kodwa ke ukuze sibasize kuyofuneka ukuthi amanzi siwasondeze ngakubo. Ukhona ke omunye okhulume ngokurenewa kwama condition ngokurenewa kwe disability grant. Ngicabanga ukuthi khona sometimes la kuba khona abantu maybe bangabi ne-information. Uma ngabe une grant yakho ufuneka ikhishwe permanent akufuneka uphinde ubuye ukuzoyilungisa leyo. La kufuneka ubuye khona uzobona udokotela yile esibiza yona ngokuthi disabled because kukhona into eyenzakele kuwe either ulimele emsebenzini or utheni. Kusafuneka ukuthi ubuyele ku doctor ngoba isimo sabanye abantu abane disability siyashintsha. So asikwazi ukuthi noma sesibona ukuthi isimo sakho sesishintshile ngoba usuthole i-treatment usuyakwazi ukubuyela emsebenzini siqhubeke sibe sikhipha leyo disability grant. Futhi ke nathi sidependa kodokotela masithi kuwe phindela kudokotela it is because sibonile ukuthi esikhathini esiningi abanye abantu bathi noma sebephindele emsebenzini bafuna ukuqhubeka nale grant bakhohlwa ukuthi nayo leyo mali leyo kufuneka idlulele kwabanye. Kodwa ke mangabe i-disability yakho i-permanent akuna argument, your disability is permanent so you must get that disability grant. Khona ke omunye umbuzo ngendaba yokuvalwa kwama pay point. Yebo siyazi ukuthi ama pay point avaliwe kodwa singakhohlwa ukuthi before isasa iwavala khona othe there is no communication. Ngokwazi kwami kunikezwa u3 months of consultation no 3 months wokuzama ukuthi abantu bazama ukuthola enye indlela yokuthi bathole leyo mali yabo not disability but generally ama grant wabo. Nansi indaba la ikhona. Okokuqala makunama pay points la kufuneka khona ukuthi kuze le moto le ethwele imali sekwaba kubi lapha ngaphandle. Le moto ziya attackwa ziyaplanelwa kukhona otsotsi nje abahamba bebhekile ukuthi ingakuphi le moto bese bayeza ke bazofuna ukuthatha imali ngenkani. So sibone okwesibili ukubhadala kuma pay points uthola ukuthi abantu okufuneka babhadale kuma pay points cash sebehlile sebancane. Ufika endaweni kufike i-truck ithi izobhadala abantu abawu10 or 15. Ukuze silethe leyo moto lapho kufuneka sikhiphe u35,000 rands. So yabona ukuthi ukukhipha leyo mali yama social grant yabantu abawu10 against le mali okufuneka siyibhadale for ukuthi silethe leyo moto lapho is very expensive for government. Into esizama ukuyenza sisayibheka si department ye social development of course sisebenzisana ne SASSA ukuthi ake sifune ezinye indlela ngoba futhi by the way abantu asebathola imali kuma pay points sebe reduceekile ngoba abantu abaningi sebeyakwazi ukuthi bayithole imali yabo kuma nibiza ama ATM bayithole futhi naseyitolo. Kodwa ke ingxaki ila basayithola kule itolo ezinkulu kusho ukuthi le mali iphindele kule itolo enkulu. Sisakhulumisana ukuthi singenza kanjani ukuthi abantu bayi-access either leyo mali yabo or ba-access ama products into abafuna ukuzithenga elokishini. Kungabi nalento ukuthi kufuneka abagibela ama-taxi baye endaweni ukuthi sisayidingida ke leyo ukuthi sizoyisebenzisa sizoyenza kanjani. In fact, sifunde kakhulu during i-COVID-19 masikhipha le grant ye 350 ukuthi abantu abaningi bayakwazi ukuyisebenzisa leyo mali closer to la behlala khona. Kusakhulunywa ke futhi nange 350 kuthiwa why abantu bekufuneka ba-apply. Nikhumbule ukuthi kwakunama regulation esasiwasebenzisa specifically for i-COVID-19 isikhathi se-COVID-19. Ayikakapheli kodwa i-COVID kodwa ke ayisekho kangakuba ngoba beyikhona before yabona nje sesiyakwazi ukuhamba without ama-mask. So kuye kwafuneka ukuthi ke sishintshe ama-regulations. Ngaloko ke futhi kwaba ne-means test. I-means test into ekhalisa abantu abaningi leyo. Masithola ukuthi unayo imali e-accountini yakho efikela ku-624 rand. Kusho ukuthi khona la imali uyithola khona. Ngakho ke kuye kwafuna ukuthi siyenze lento ukuthi abantu ba-apply. Okunye futhi kuye kwafuneka ukuthi abantu ba-apply ngoba abanye baphindele emsebenzini kodwa basayifuna nale 350 esayidini. Asikwazi ukunikeza abantu i350 asebaphindele emsebenzini ngoba phela kusho ukuthi they are depriving other people who actually have got absolutely nothing. Ngiyazi ukuthi kukhona abakhala ngokuthi bona ba-approvewa kodwa imali yabo abakayitholi. Siyathembisa ukuthi ngale nyanga owa-approvewa ngayo if kutholakala ukuthi vele awuzange ube nayo imali kuyafuneka sikbackdate sikunikeze imali yakho from the time that we approved imali yakho. Amanye ke I think nje kakhulukazi into engiphethe kabuhlungu yile of people with disability. I think yiba abantu okuzofuneka ke sithi pay much attention to or futhi nabo baphinde bakhuluma nangendaba yama toilets ukuthi they have to push their wheelchairs to ama toilets which are not conducive for them. Nendaba yama wheelchairs. I think CEO and HOD no MEC kuzofuneka ke maybe senze i-campaign ethize ukuze sitholele abantu ama wheelchairs because almost everywhere I go people are complaining about wheelchairs and government cannot necessarily be able to buy wheelchairs for everybody, but I think if we started a campaign and we went to the private sector, we went to some foundations, they probably can be able to give us those wheelchairs. In fact, I think even in some hospitals, Minister we Health uhambil, in some hospitals, kukhona ama wheelchair othola ukuthi awasasetshenziswa afuna ukulungiswa. I-problem yethu futhi la eSouth Africa i-one. Yazi ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi uthola i-wheelchair ihleli nje lapha kuthiwa hayiphukile. But you would be surprised if we mobilized abantu abangawalungisa lawo ma-wheelchairs bese siyawahambisa ke siyowanikeza kuma-community. I think nje esikhathini esiningi we need to be a little bit more creative, more innovative in order for us ukuthi sisize abantu. Ukhona lo obuze umnumzane lo ukhulume ngopresident ukuthi why angaboshwa. I think uzoba nethuba lokuthi umbuzo uzobe khona Friday. Lelo ithuba lakho lokuthi umbuze directly. Because mina mangathi ngiyayiphendula lo mbuzo uzothiwa hayi uphendula ngoba ufuna ukuthi upresident akuthande or anything of that sort. Uzokuphendula upresident uzobe khona Friday.
Thank you so much, Minister Zulu. Now, lastly, we are going to have Honorable Dr. Mtsoaledi, Minister for Home Affairs, to respond, and after that, we will have closing remarks by Honorable Gillion, the Chairperson of the Select Committee.
Ngiyabonga mhlala ngaphambili Sanibonani. Ngicela imvumele ngikhulume ngesingisi ngoba isiZulu sami siyabheda mhlale ngaphambili. Ngeke nizwe ukuthi kuthini ngoba ngizama ukuthini. Program director, I was not surprised when so many people lodged complaints about the Home Affairs. I was not surprised because I know about the complaints, but most importantly, Home Affairs is a base department. It's the foundation. All these departments that were here, and those that were here this morning, up to the end of the week, they will never be able to serve you unless you have gone through Home Affairs. You can't go to a clinic, can't go to a school, can't apply for a house, can't go to SASA, can't go to a police station. So, ngiyavuma ukuthi i-Home Affairs is a base department, and that is the one that must solve all the problems. Otherwise, there will be complaints like the ones I'm hearing today. But fortunately, I'm very much aware of the complaints. Actually, over the past 9 weeks, I was not in my office in Pretoria. I was moving around all the rural areas with mobiles. And so most of the things you have mentioned, I've picked them up and we are busy with solutions. I can divide the Department of Home Affairs into 4 main problems, because I'm not going to go one by one, because I segue is card. But there are 4 main problems Home Affairs is faced with. The first one is shortage of offices and distances. We only have 412 Home Affairs offices in the whole country. When you consider that we are a base department, compare us with the number of schools, clinics, and police stations, 412 is nothing. And that's where some of the problems are. And that's why there are lots of distances. The second problem is shortage of staff. Yebo, ngiyavuma. Ubaba uLinda Mchali uyithethile ngathi uye eHome Affairs kwenza inspection athola ukuthi there's a shortage of staff and there's load shedding. That's true. We are aware of the shortage of staff, and I'm going to try and give you some of the solutions that we have embarked on. So it's our second problem. The third one, and the biggest of them all, is technology. Of all the government departments, the department that suffers the most if there's no technology in your area is Home Affairs. Ama-clinic ayasebenza ngoba there's load shedding or what, they can go on. Social development iyasebenza, igolo iyasebenza, amaphoyisa ayasebenza. But once there is no technology, Home Affairs gets stuck. We literally sit and wait if there's no technology. And there are 2 forms of technology that are giving us problems. The first one is that we get our technology from ISITA, the State Information Technology Agency. And most of the problems emerge from there. When SITA systems are down, Home Affairs ngeke isebenze. If Vodacom ingasebenzi, Home Affairs get stuck. Cell C, Home Affairs get stuck. Any other of the networks, if they've got problems with their system, Home Affairs get stuck. Even when one cable is stolen in any one area, if anybody can steal a cable here, a copper cable, know that for that whole week until somebody, from Telkom comes to repair it, Home Affairs ngeke isebenze. So we've got serious weaknesses in terms of technology. Even ESCOM, when there is load shedding, Home Affairs won't work even if there's a generator. Yes, quite a number of our offices have got generators. But even them, they get stuck when there is load shedding. Even when you put a generator, Home Affairs can't work if there's load shedding. You know why? Because we need the towers of Cell C, of MTN, of Telkom, of Vodacom. And those towers are down. Even when their batteries are stolen. So Home Affairs is affected on many fronts on the issue of technology. But I'm going to tell you what we are trying to do. The last one, which is very easy, and I'm going to try and find a way to solve it today, is where the staff do not follow the rules or the laws. The commonest one I had here, which we discussed thoroughly during COVID, and I thought it was over, is that Home Affairs officials have got no right, and I want you to write it down. They've got no right to cut people and tell them today we serve only 20 people. There's no like that in the government. There's no law like that. That should not happen. Unfortunately, people are complaining generally. Yesterday, somebody phoned me about an office in Pretoria. He was able to give me the name of the person who did that, and by yesterday already, they were charging that person. They were following laws in government to charge that person. Yes, because government officials are supposed to have a name tag here. You're supposed to demand it to see who is serving you. If they return you, it's illegal. Because what they do, they look at the time and say, no, I must knock off at 4:30. And there are so many people. And then they cut people at 3:30. That's what happened yesterday in the office in Tshwane. That's illegal. That's illegal. Imagine going to hospital and very sick, and they tell you, no, today we see only 10 people, you are the 11th person, and they send you home to die. In Home Affairs, the same thing can happen, because our lives depend on people. So these 4 problems of Home Affairs officials not following laws, I want you to take it very seriously and report them. There is also an issue where some Home Affairs officials unfortunately believe for a child to get an ID, you need their biological mother. There's no law like that. Do you know how many kids in this country don't have biological mothers? Especially in the advent of HIV and AIDS. How many women did we lose during HIV and AIDS for that period of 30 years? So there are many kids who don't have biological mothers. And if we were to say you need a biological mother to take an ID, there will be trouble in the land. So that's not allowed, and you must not allow something like that to happen to you. I want to introduce you, in as far as this problem is concerned, to the boss of Home Affairs in KZN. I don't have MECs like other departments, but I've got what you call a provincial manager of Home Affairs. His name is Mr. Cyril Mwabe. Can you stand up, sir? Yeah. Now I'm boss for Home Affairs. Ichikelele yonke Kwazulu Natal. Mwabe must work with you to form stakeholder forums. You must have stakeholder forums where these problems are solved. You can't be waiting for a minister to come from so far once a year or once in 2 years as we're doing. I think he will develop a program for you to decide to form stakeholder forums where all these problems are resolved. I also want him to look at it. I know social development said it's a bit difficult in the war rooms, Sukumasaki. I also want you to look at the possibility of Home Affairs being present in the war rooms, because some of the problems in the offices are Sukumasaki, because people have complained here. I don't know whether it will be possible, but I want us to look into it. Thank you very much. Now, let me try to summarize how we are solving all these problems we have mentioned. This week, you are having 4 mobile units there, 4 mobile offices. They are going to work for the whole week until Friday. Now, we have realized in Home Affairs that if we go around the country trying to build Home Affairs offices as you are demanding, firstly, it will take time. But secondly, it might not help you. We might put a Home Affairs office there, but if there's no connectivity in that area, that Home Affairs office is useless. Connectivity is not done by Home Affairs. It's done by the Department of Telecommunications and Technology, New Technologies. Minister Unsabeni has announced last year that they are going to do what they call South Africa Connect. Connect all the police stations, all the schools, all the hospitals, and all Home Affairs offices. I'm telling you, please start with Home Affairs, because all those others will never be able to work unless Home Affairs is working. I ask her to do that, but it will still take time. So as an immediate solution, Home Affairs have got 100 mobile trucks. The ones you see there, you are seeing 4. KZN have got how many? 14. Yes, the whole of KZN has got 14. So what we are doing is this: we are increasing their number. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to collect 20 from the factory. And yesterday, we agreed that in the new financial year, we must order another 120. And I'll tell you why we want to use mobile offices. Number one, you don't have to travel. Many people complain about traveling here. The mobile office travels for you. It goes where you are. You don't have to do these distances. That's why we want them. Number two, all our mobile trucks, all of them, have got an inbuilt generator. So even if there's load shedding, that generator will go on. But unfortunately, if that generator goes on and the telecom towers, the network towers, are not working because of load shedding, unfortunately, we are in trouble again. I just want you to understand that. Because quite a number of times, Home Affairs officials are attacked for something they are not responsible for. So, but those trucks there have got generators. Number three, we have installed them with all the networks, because in some areas, MTN is working, there's no Vodacom. But those trucks, each one of them have got all. But more than anything else, we have started a new system. We are buying them all satellite dishes. And one satellite dish is costing us 1 million rand. Yes, but we want all our trucks, all of them, the new ones we are buying, will have a satellite dish. With a satellite dish, it doesn't matter whether there is Vodacom, there's no Vodacom, Telcom, etc. The Home Affairs office will work. That's why we prefer the mobiles, because they move all over and they move with all the machines and they move with all the technology. So we are going to increase them. Actually, I told my officials yesterday that until we have got 1,000 mobile trucks, I'm not going to rest. But we'll increase them every year. So next year we add 120, they will be double. The year following that, we'll keep on doubling them. The other area where we want to serve you is in clinics and hospitals. Somebody mentioned here clinics and hospitals. And I'm happy because we are already doing so. One of the problems that Home Affairs can solve, so that there's no more identity theft and all that, is that when a child is born, that child must get a birth certificate within 30 days of life. And I really want you to listen to this carefully. When you don't get a birth certificate in the first 30 days of life, on the 31st day, we call it delayed registration of birth. Until the year, the end of the year, is late registration of birth. After 1 year, it's havoc. Anybody who goes for 1 year without a birth certificate is havoc. And I want you to understand it. We are not, you can go to, you may find yourself going to Home Affairs 10 times without them being able to help you. Why is late registration of birth so difficult? It's because a lot of things are wanted. You can imagine if you are 20 years old, you just appear and say, I'm Aaron Mutwaledi. It's written nowhere. In any part of the country, you just say, I'm Aaron Mutwaledi. How do you know? There's a gentleman there, I think, if I'm not mistaken, say I picked your name carefully. Mr. Hebedin, did you? Yes. Sorry? Yes. You complain about people crossing the borders and all that. And I'll tell you why late registration of birth is so difficult. Because we don't know who you are. You might just have crossed the border and say, I'm Aaron Mutwaledi, when you are not. So we are going to ask you to go to the chief, if the chief knows you. To the church, if Umfundisi knows you. To the clinic, if you were ever born there. To the school, if you ever attended school. To the ward councillor, if he has ever heard about your family in that ward, that there is such a family that exists. You are going to have to collect all those things. And after bringing them, we may even ask for a DNA, which is very expensive. After bringing them all together, those documents, you will never be able to be held by one Home Affairs official. The law doesn't allow that. There are tribunals in every area. Is it district or every Home Affairs office in that the tribunals? Yes. There is one tribunal. It meets once a month or so. They are going to examine all those documents and agree in a tribunal whether we give you a birth certificate or not. That's what is going to happen. And that's why the process is so low. So to solve it, make sure that before you are more than 30 days old, you have got a birth certificate. How do we help that in Home Affairs? We have looked at the number of clinics and hospitals in the whole of South Africa. There are about 4,000. But birth is taking place in 1,440 of them. That's where babies are delivered. In all the 1,440, we have got a program of putting Home Affairs offices. And we don't put it anywhere within the yard of the hospital. We put it next to the labor ward, next to the maternity. If there's maternity this way, Home Affairs office must be this way. So when you come out with your bundle of joy, we are born up by Home Affairs in front of you, and you must go there. And some of the Home Affairs officials are trained to get into the ward to check the women who have just delivered their babies. Now, where is the program? We started this program in 2020. We immediately stopped by COVID. But I need to help you a little bit because, here in your area, eThekwini and Ugu District put together, we have got 14 hospitals which has got Home Affairs offices. Addington, Dudok, eThekwini, King Edward, Prince Mushieni, Mahatma Gandhi, Osindisweni, RK Khan, St. Augustine, St. Mary's, Port Shepstone, Murchison, CJ Crook, King Dinizulu. All of them are connected. And there's a Home Affairs official there. Unfortunately, don't go for ID or passport. They only give birth certificates. And we're still continuing to put in more clinics and hospitals. I just wanted to tell you that we are doing that. Now, the other thing we are doing to help you is banks. We believe those people who have got bank accounts, if they can get their services in the bank and not have to go and queue in Home Affairs offices, it will also help. This program has just started. Unfortunately, in Kwazulu Natal, as I know, in the whole country, there are only 29 banks who are already in this system. Unfortunately, in Kwazulu Natal, we have just started. And the banks are only two. The Standard Bank in Kingsmead and FNB in Konobia. The program is not moving very fast, I will tell you what. The banks are saying unless Home Affairs solves this problem of technology, downtime, system being down, they won't come on board in large numbers. But once they do so, you'll be able to go to a bank and get help. The fourth strategy, we believe if we put Home Affairs offices in the malls, there are a lot of malls in South Africa. If we put Home Affairs offices in the malls, you don't have to queue. You arrive at the give you a number, you go and do your shopping, then they announce you and you come and be served. But this type of program needs to be piloted. So we have started with Menlyn Mall in Pretoria. They are installing Home Affairs systems. Before the end of this year, I'm going to open that one. And once it's open, we start talking to all the malls in the country to try and alleviate. Why am I giving you this? Mobile trucks, clinics, and hospitals connected, banks, malls. You ought to find an area where you can choose to be serviced so that you don't have to struggle with Home Affairs offices, some of which don't exist. The last issue, the fifth issue on this thing, it's not the last, the fifth one. We have got a system called BABS. Before I sit down, I'm going to ask Mr. Mwabe to help you how BABS works. Somebody complained about it there. BABS means Branch Appointment Booking System. You don't have to wake up at 4 o'clock, especially if you want an ID or a passport. You don't have to wake up at 4 o'clock. You book. In this branch appointment booking system, they tell you what time to come. And it's not as difficult as I had somebody talking about it here. We started BABS in June, and we have already served 200,000 people on BABS, and they are very happy. They don't spend more than 15 minutes in a Home Affairs office. If you are using BABS, you don't spend more than 15 minutes inside. The most you can spend is 30 minutes. The sixth program is capacitation. Again, Ulinda was telling the truth. In 2015, the Minister of Finance complained that the budget for staffing is getting hot, and Home Affairs was told not to hire people. It has destroyed us. But this year, we've been given 266 million rand. We are busy filling posts. We've advertised 700 posts. We are at 90% of filling those posts. And we ask that next year they must give us some more people. We have got a program called digitization, because there's another issue which I want you to know. Home Affairs have got 350 million records. All of them are manual, which means they are paper. They stretch back from 1895, not 1995, 1895. But all of them are manual. When we come to check who you are, we must go and check manually. So on the 10th of February, the president announced that we are going to hire 10,000 unemployed graduates in the field of IT and information technology who are going to digitize those records. As I'm speaking here, we have advertised the first 2,000 posts. By yesterday, we have filled 1,400 of them. And we are going to keep on. By March, we'll be having 10,000 unemployed graduates. They will be digitizing this record. You'll find them on your fingertips. They will no longer be manual. I want to end up with corruption. Because, yes, somebody spoke very strongly about it. Don't think I'm going to come here and be defensive. Yes, there's a lot of corruption in Home Affairs. In fact, other departments, this is my last point, other departments, when they say corruption, they mean supply chain. In Home Affairs, when we say corruption, everywhere, in any of Home Affairs office you get, there can be corruption at the borders, everywhere. And let me tell you, we are arresting people. So it's not true that we are doing nothing about it. We are arresting people. And we have got a list of those who are arrested. Last month, we arrested a Home Affairs official from my own province in Limpopo. He's a level 6 worker. Level 6 is down there, meaning he's very junior. But he owns a Range Rover, a Mercedes Benz, which many senior people, even members of parliament, cannot afford. 3 other cars which he bought cash. He owns a big house with garages where he parks all these cars, and he's a level 6 worker. Investigation showed that he's getting 8,000 rand per day from Pakistani nationals who want South African documents. Yes, so there's a lot of money around. So for that reason, Home Affairs is the only department that has got a Deputy Director General for counter-corruption. It had 12 people. We're adding another 12 to make them 24. Their work is to sniff around corruption. But before I sit down, I also want to warn you. The corruption is not only by Home Affairs officials, it's also by members of the public. And when we arrest, we also arrest South Africans in this corruption. And I'll tell you why. On the 24th of March, those who watch TV, and I'm saying this because I want you to understand it, we arrested a Pakistani kingpin in our office in Krugerstop because we did a sting operation for him. You know what they were doing? He comes with 10 people from Pakistan or Bangladesh, and people say I'm xenophobic when I mention this. I'm going to mention it. I'm not scared because it's true. It's written down. He comes with 10 people from either Pakistan or Bangladesh. Villages and townships look for boys who are on Nyaube or crystal meth. Children who are on drugs, who are always needing a fix. Minister Zulu, because they all come to our department. They get them and they get a Home Affairs official. In the night when everybody's asleep, they transport them in Kumbis to the Home Affairs official's office, the one who's corrupt. We have got 10 young South Africans on drugs, 10 Pakistani or Bangladeshi national and Somalis. Those are the ones who are caught in this system. That's why I mentioned them by name. When they arrive there, they tell the young South African, apply for a passport. Ubhale igama, the ID number, the date of birth, ufake fingerprint. When it's time to take a photo, bayamsuza, then the Pakistani comes in and takes the photo. So the name, the ID number, the date of birth belong to a South African. The fingerprint belongs to a South African, but the photo, yes. That's why I don't know whether you never saw on social media. Who's that guy one Ndlovu Leburang. Leburang Ndlovu from Bangladesh. Bahamba on social media. Leburang Ndlovu. People were making a joke. They thought, no, it's a joke. It was not a joke. A lady who gave Leburang Ndlovu that document was working in our Home Affairs office in Benoni. We are charging her, we are going to fire her. She's the one who, and when they do this, the young chap on drugs, who gives their name, their fingerprint and everything, is given 500 rand. Yes, to go and buy Nyaube, 500 rand. The Home Affairs official is giving 5,000 rand for every passport produced. The Pakistani kingpin is going to get 40,000 rand. So how can we be so stupid? You sell your ID for 500 rand, Home Affairs official sells his or her country for 5,000 rand, and the Pakistani official is going to get 40,000 rand. That's how the scheme is going. In Soshanguve, they are selling their green barcoded ID for a fix. If or crystal meth. So we are also helping in this corruption. It's not only Home Affairs. Now, what are we doing about it? This is our solution. All of you South Africans, we've got 2 of your biometrics. We've got your fingerprint and your photo. Now, in the midst of this corruption, that's not enough. We are keeping them in a system called HANIS, Home Affairs National Identification System. We are moving to a new system called ABIS, Automated Biometric Information System. It has got a fingerprint and a photo, yes, but it has also got an iris recognition. It can recognize in your eye who you are. It has also got a facial recognition. It can recognize and look at your face and say, this is Mutswale, it is not Zulu. It can do that. It also has got a palm print. At the moment, we have migrated all of you to ABIS as the first step. We are 99% completed on that. So we are going to be calling you back to Home Affairs to get your iris and your what you call, don't get angry. It's because we want to stop all these things. I don't have time to talk about marriage because somebody mentioned it there. But this marriage, people getting married without their knowledge, it's not all people. I'm going to talk about one thing only. There are young girls who marry themselves and get paid. It's not that it's always corruption. There are young girls, especially those at universities and TVET colleges. Somebody comes from another country and say, I'm going to marry you, I'll pay all your fees and agree to get married to me, and I'll pay all your university fees, and I'll go to Home Affairs and get a document because I'm married to a South African, because the law says so. After that transaction, then the young girl comes to Home Affairs and say they cancel a marriage. And when you tell them, I don't cancel marriages, mina. The person who cancels marriage is Minister Lamula at court. When you want to stop your marriage, you go to court, you don't come back to us. And in court, you need a lawyer to tell a judge why you are stopping that marriage. So please stop selling your marriages, because it's not easy to get out of it, I can warn you. Thank you very much.
Honorable members of parliament, ministers, and everyone in the house, all protocol observed. Minister asked me just to speak about one area, just to sensitize and just mention the issue of the introduction of the booking appointment system that is done by Home Affairs now. That system, there are two systems. We don't have to confuse it. Kuna, the first system is a system where you can do an application online. It's called an online application. That one is not a branch appointment system. The one that we have introduced, we know that you can go into the system and make an application, finalize an application online, but only go to the branch just to go and confirm your biometrics. But the branch appointment system talks about securing a slot in the Office of Home Affairs. That would mean that the smartphones are very, very simple. You just simply go into the website here, Department of Home Affairs. Ungena kulapho kubhaliwe ke kwathiwa khona into ekuthiwa yi-BAPS. Ngesikhathi ufike lapho uchoose khona islot ozoba available ngaso ukuthi ukwazi ukuya kwa Home Affairs. Immediately you select a slot, it sends a message to the office lelo lichuzile ukuthi ufuna ukuya kulona. Then ekuseni, office manager prints out all the appointments that have been captured through the system, so that umangabe kuukuthi ngo 12 o'clock, your time is 12 o'clock. Maufika ngo 12 o'clock, you just simply go straight to your assistant without any hassles, without going into the queue. How this system is helping us, ama benefits wakhona. Kuyabona kulezi indawo ezifana nasemadolobheni. Bekunomkhutshana omubi lo ebesithi kukhona labantu esithi amaphara kusho ukuthi abantu labahlala emgwaqweni. Bebehamba bayobamba ulayini lapha yana. Bawubambe ngo3 ekseni. Then in the morning sekufika abantu ngesikhathi I'm thinking that I'm number 1 in the queue. Kanti through this ipara selinabantu about 20 already abakhokhayo, and we have made that market available for them. Ukuthi siyakhokha sifuna ukuvuka ekseni. So now this decreases that kind of a possibility, because umuntu esombona simbona ngokwesikhathi abhukhe ukuthi uzozobonakala ngaso, bese ufike uassistwa ngaleso sikhathi. But we know that technology kakusiyona ekwazi ukusisiza sonke vele kanye kanye. What we are doing, we have already, Minister, started engaging with our councillors in some of the areas in the province, where we are saying they need to give access to abantu abadala abangakwazi ukusebenzisa lama smartphones uma befuna ukwenza ama appointments, bakwazi ukungena baye ema-ofisini wamakhansela bababhukhele, so that ugogo ezokwazi ukuthi ahambe naye esefika sekune appointment that has already been made. Sicela ukusebenzisana ke namakhansela namanye ama stakeholders ukuthi aba-asize ba-access this kind of assistance. Finally ke Minister, I think there was this issue yokuthi uMinister uthi kube khona imali esiyithole from National Treasury and we had to start to increase staff. As a province, we were allocated 83 posts. Esiwafinalizile lawo ma-posts, saba-appoint abantu abakhona. I-office lase-Potchefstroom, njengamanje line-manager entsha that is in this office, Mr. Nchangase, esimqashe manje, uqale manje ngo-August, and is a very capable person. Sifisa ukuthi uma niye ema-office nicele access to the manager, so that nikwazi ukubika iy'nkinga, and we are trying by all means ukuthi silekelele. Sinawo ke sikwazile uqasha futhi ama-district managers, Minister. Kwazulu Natal was the only province that was the first to finalize ama-appointments waso sonke staff ebesikhona. Within there, we had also ama-clerks for the hospitals. Kule ibhedlela connected, sebekhona abantu abazobe benilekelela kuzona. I thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I want to talk about death, because it's a very painful thing. I forgot it, because I want to make it very clear. No human being must get to Home Affairs to ask for a death certificate and go out without it. I want you to write that down. It doesn't matter whether ESCOM is down, systems are down. You can't leave Home Affairs without a death certificate. And the reasons are simple. What about those who buried their dead within 5 hours or so? You can't be sent back. The Home Affairs official is obliged to write that document manually. And when the systems are back, they will then write it, automate it, and call you back to come and collect it. But don't agree to leave a Home Affairs office without the death certificate, because that should not be happening. Because it will cause chaos. People want to bury. Imagine on a Friday when you are burying on Saturday, you have already called relatives, and Home Affairs says, no, there are no more systems. It can't work. So we are able to produce a death certificate instantly. Home Affairs official who doesn't do that, please report them, because they are doing a wrong thing. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you very much to the ministers. Let me take this opportunity to thank my co-chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Services in KZN, Honorable Minister Joe Pasla, Lendi Zulu, and Dr. Motsaledi. Thank you very much to also the mayors and the premier and all MECs. I think there is some questions that was directed to local government, and what will happen after is that the Select Committee on Health and Social Services will get all issues that was raised in a report, so that we can hold the ministers and also the MECs and the mayors accountable. When we are taking Parliament to the people, we are taking it very seriously. So we will keep them accountable and do follow-ups on the implementation of the issues that was raised today. Thank you very much for everybody who attended and was still in attendance. This session is adjourned. Thank you.
we have challenges, Chairperson. Firstly, the issue that is the challenge is the water issues. And we are happy that when we had this problem, we did not sit down and deny that as Ugu we have problems, but sends a call to the Minister of Water and Sanitation just to report, and also to the then Premier, Ubabu Kuzin. For us, it was not because we wanted them.
The National Council of Provinces is taking Parliament to the people of Kwazulu Natal from 14 to 18 November 2022. Taking Parliament to the People is a flagship program of the National Council of Provinces and fulfills the mandate to conduct oversight and to facilitate public participation in Parliament processes. During the program, delegations consisting of members of Parliament, provincial legislatures, and local municipalities will visit various sites and hold public meetings where members of the public are given the opportunity to draw the executive's attention to challenges they experience with regards to service delivery. Follow Parliament on social media for more information on Taking Parliament to the People 2022. Stay updated by visiting our website at www.parliament.gov.za. Parliament, following up on our commitments to the people, making your future work better.
Luningi lusha esisiqalile siyalitraina sine plan yokuthi sihambise into ebizwa ngokuthi ngama digital labs lapho esifundisa khona ulusha lufunda izinto ezihlukahlukene ze technology njengamanje sinabanye abafundela analytical digital analytics and digital scientists okuwukuthi njengoba befunda bayaqhubeka futhi bayahola kodwa futhi njengoba befunda bayakwazi ukuthi baziqalela ama project wabo aqale ngisho ukungenisa imali kodwa besaqhubeka nokufunda. Siyafisa ukuthi sithole ukuxhaseka ngoba uma ngase sigxilise kakhulu lo hlelo sibona sengathi maningi kakhulu amathuba omsebenzi angavela for ulusha lethu ngoba kakhulukazi ukuze ufunde lento zabo IT kwesinye isikhathi awudingi nanokuthi ube no matric. Izinto ezinjengabo drone pilots, into ezinjengabo technology mechatronics, lezo zinto nezinto eziningi ezila ku technology asidingi nokuthi uzube no matric. Siyakwazi ukuthi sithathe ulusha mhlambe olungaqedanga umatric noma olufunda umatric la ngakwazi ukuqhubekela phambili sikwazi ukubasiza ukuthi nabo bese bengena kulomkhakha ebese beqala ukuthi bavule awabo amabhizinisi. Sinenkolelo yokuthi uma ngase kusetshenziswe itechnology nakhona la kuhulumeni singakwazi ukuimprove kakhulu iservice delivery. Siyafisa ukusho ukuthi lo hlelo loku esinalo la le District Development Agency lokuthi sikwazi ukusebenzisana singomasipala uhulumeni omkhulu kanye nomasipala siyafisa ukuthi ligxile kakhulu lihlanganisane no operations sukuma sakhe la ogwini nje siyazi ukuthi sinohlelo uhulumeni alethile lokwakha idolobha elishasha sihlangene neAlfred Nzo kanye neHarry Gwala. Siyathemba ukuthi lo hlelo luzohamba ngokusheshsha luphinde futhi lulethe amathuba amaningi einhlobo ezihlukahlukene yemsebenzi kubantu ezinjengalapha ko mining, ko agriculture, ko tourism kanye nokulethwa kwe-infrastructure eindaweni zethu kulama district esikhuluma ngawo. I-Eastern Seaboard Development siyazi ukuthi nayo ibikwa ukuthi izoba i-smart coastal province ezokwazi ukuthi kuhlomile kakhulu imphakathi yalapho ogwini eHarry Gwala nase-Alfred Nzo. Amadolobha amaningi ke umhlaba wonke sike sibona ukuthi ayathuthuka uma ngabe esebenzisa itechnology. Nathi la KwaZulu Natal ukulwa nobugebengu ifakiwe itechnology lapho kuzokwazi ukuthi amakhamera wethu abheke igebengu aphinde axhumane nalapha yakuma call center lapho kubhekakela khona imoto ezintshontshiwe kanye nabantu mhlambe abafunwayo ngenxa yokugebengu abafunelwa bona. Ngiyabona mphathi wohlela ukuthi sewuyangivala kodwa kokugcina mhlambe esifisa ukubeka lapha ekomitini ukuthi siyafuna ukuthi sisizakale
singomasipala kanye nesifundazwe ukuthi abatshali bezimali bafinyelele eindaweni zethu noma ngabe siyazi ukuthi abasezuba khona abatshali bezimali abakhulu kodwa ithina okuzafanele ukuthi uhulumeni asisize kakhulu ukuvula amabhizinisi wethu amancane azogcina sengamabhizinisi amakhulu ukuze sakhe amathuba omsebenzi ukuze sazi nathi ukuthi sigcine sesineimboni zethu esikwaziyo ukuthi sizisebenze njengabantu abamnyama. Siyafisa ukuthi ngalesi sikhathi singena esikhathini samaholidi silwisane nokuhlukumezeka kwabantu besifazane kanye nabantwana bethu. Siyafisa futhi ukuthi umphakathi nabazali sixhase abantwana bethu ababhala umatric njengamanje ngoba siyabona ukuthi baningi abantwana bethu abangaphansi kwengcindezi njengoba bebhala nje umatric wabo ngenxa yeinhlobo ngeinhlobo zeinkinga ababhekana nazo emakhaya nasemphakathini esiphila kuona. Uma ngabe singakwazi ukuthi sonke njengemphakathi ukuthi labantwana ababhala umatric siba understand ukuthi ibridge labo leli ukuthi nabo babe ngabantu kusasa bayadinga ukuthi baxhaseke ngayo yonke indlela bayadinga ukuthi baboniswe ukuthi noma ngabe udonsa kanzima kodwa umphakathi wonke umndeni wonke ubaxhasile ngokuthi baqhubekele phambili. Ngalamazwi ke mphathi wohlelo sifisa ukuyibongela.
The National Council of Provinces is taking parliament to the people of Kwazulu Natal from 14 to 18 November 2022. Taking parliament to the people is a flagship program of the National Council of Provinces and fulfills the mandate to conduct oversight and to facilitate public participation in parliament processes. During the program, delegations consisting of members of parliament, provincial legislatures, and local municipalities will visit various sites and hold public meetings where members of the public are given the opportunity to draw the executive's attention to challenges they experience with regards to service delivery. Follow Parliament on social media for more information on Taking Parliament to the People 2022. Stay updated by visiting our website at www.parliament.gov.za. Parliament, following up on our commitments to the people, making your future work better.
Many would agree that it is fitting that after a hiatus of 2 years, which was occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, the program is held in this province after the devastation caused by public violence, destruction and looting during the July 2021 unrest and the damages triggered by floods earlier this year. The theme for this week is working together to ensure faster improvement in the delivery of services to communities. We hope that through collaboration, we will unlock lasting solutions to the challenges experienced by the province, starting with Ugu District Municipality, which consists of Renkonyeni, Umdoni, Umzuabantu, and Umzumbe local municipalities. Sitige, asebenze, simuntu munye, sethule izinhlelo ezisheshayo esezingeni eziphucula impilo yomphakathi jikelele. Program directors, as you will certainly agree with me, Parliament,
good evening and welcome
the
to
Provincial
Parliament
Legislature.
TV again. We are still coming to you live from Ugu Sport and Leisure Center. We have just concluded the public hearings of social services cluster focusing on social grants, home affairs and health. The public have made their inputs to the National Council of Provinces and have received some feedback from the executive. I am now joined by none other than our Social Development Minister, Mayor Lindiwe Zulu. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be on Parliament TV.
Yes, ma'am. And just first, people raised issues regarding social grants, both from the disabilities sector as well as offices being closed earlier. What is the department doing? What can be done?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, but I think the most important thing that we are not here on our own as a Department of Social Development at a national level. We have all three spheres of government, and for me as a Minister of Social Development, having the Department of Social Development at provincial and local level, but as well as having SASSA and NDA being present here, it gave them the opportunity to hear from the people what needs to be done. Systems of social development in general need to be improved from time to time, and therefore in some instances you find that there's delays, like you're talking about the issue of the social grants, which is related to people with disability. I think what also needs to be understood is the fact that there's a category of these social grants, because sometimes people say, yeah, but you were giving me, you were paying me, why do I now need to go back to the doctor and get clearance? There is a social grant that is permanent. If you have got permanent disability, there is no need for you to be going back and forth to any doctor because it is understood that your permanent disability. But there are those ones who are with temporary disability. It's important for us, for them to understand that if your disability is not permanent, you need to go back to the doctor and the doctor will tell us whether we need to take you out of the system or not, because we're not the doctors that have to do the checking whether a person's disability is now sorted or not.
Okay, and another issue, ma'am, that I would love you to also address is this issue regarding closing of offices early due to systems being offline.
Well, look, it's more than just systems being offline. In some instances, most of the people actually spoke about people leaving offices early, not because of the system is down, which therefore means there is something that we need to continuously do to make sure that our officials in offices, they have an appreciation and understanding that they're actually serving people. And some of these people travel long distances to come through to get the services. And when they come to the office and they are told that they must go back, it costs them a lot of money. But of course, there are instances where the systems are down, and especially now that we've been having load shedding, that is one of the biggest problems, because when there's load shedding, it means the system goes down. It is for this reason that SASSA has decided to, where possible, get generators, so that if the system, if the electricity goes down, then the generator must kick in order to save time for the people.
The last time we spoke, that the minister also updated the nation was about that social grant recipients were about 17 million. How far are we going now? Is there any improvement, especially also with regards to the RD grant?
The SRD grant is continuing. Remember that the SRD grant was extended, and it's also been extended until next financial year, which is good for those people who actually have absolutely nothing. I know that the biggest challenges have been people being approved, but then the money taking very long to come through. Remember, or maybe, let me not say remember, the issues that we needed to change the regulations in order for us not to use the regulations that we were using during COVID-19. And then also we needed to make sure that people who are paid are the right people who are paid. Because some people now have gone back to work, but they're still wanting the 350. And I think people must be conscious and understand that there are people who actually need it, who've got absolutely nothing. But lastly, it's also about the budget. You know, we don't have an endless budget. We get a particular amount from Treasury, and we have to do everything we can to make sure that we pay the right people, so that those who have now gone back to work, they must enable others. So we do need to check whether people are still unemployed or not. But in South Africa, it's no longer even just about unemployment, because the unemployment figures are quite high. It's just the fact that some people have lost hope. They don't even go and look for jobs anymore, because they spend the little that they have to go look for the jobs. And that's why, as a Department of Social Development, we contribute immensely to the discussions about the economy. How do we lift the economy up? How do we make sure that jobs are created? And we contribute towards the discussion about how can we be creative as South Africans to make sure that we've got more and more people in jobs? Because if people are at work, if people have got jobs, I can tell you they're not going to be queuing for a 350 because they would be getting much more than the 350.
And Minister, also lastly, this year taking Parliament to the people, 2022, and the theme being that improving services to communities. Your review about this first day, especially your session.
It was very robust, and I think that we don't do taking a parliament to the people or izimbizo or anything of that sort. We don't do it for show. We do it because people need to be given that voice to be able to ask us the hard questions. And we, as ministers, together with our officials, we need to respond to the people. But for me, it's more than just an activity that happened where people were able to speak. It's democracy at work, because sometimes we take it for granted that people's voices being drowned by not being able to come through and ask those questions is a small thing. It's not. It's very important. You know, the majority of the people who came here, they asked very pertinent questions. They asked bread and butter issues. They mainly asked, government, you have said you are going to be delivering in the following things. Why is it that you are not delivering? But I don't think it should end here. Parliament now must hold us accountable as members of the executive, because while we were able to answer these questions, I think the role of parliamentarians is for them to then follow up when we go to Parliament, when they call us to Parliament to ask us the questions. They will not be asking us questions which are just coming from themselves, from their constituencies. They will also be asking the questions what we have done in as far as the issues that were raised by the people here.
And including also the time frames, because in most instances it is about the time frames.
Yes, absolutely, it is about the time frames, but it takes me back to the issue of the economy. We must grow the economy, because when we grow the economy, it means the government purse is going to be bigger, and once the government purse is bigger, it means you're going to have resources to be able to service our people. And if you talk about SASA, for instance, which is distributing the SRD grant, if we didn't have the money, President Cyril Ramaphosa would have not extended the 350 as he has extended it, and the Minister of Finance made that declaration. That's why the improvement of the economy is critical for us, because we can then say, if people are unable to get jobs yet, there must be something that they fall on as people who do not have the resources. But lastly, from ourselves as the Department of Social Development, we're not only just about the SRD 350. Yes. We pay all the normal grants to about 18 million people at the moment, but also we've got other programs that deal with the well-being of South Africans. We've got programs that relate to the elderly, programs that relate to people with disability. We've got programs also that relate to just ensuring that our people appreciate and understand what the Department of Social Development is about. And I'm always making this point because I don't want us to be reduced to just social grants. We do much, much more than that.
And including also the sectoral parliament that also now, this month, that we will be having with the department, the men's parliament.
Yes, we'll be having that parliament, but also we are going to be in the Eastern Cape. I think we're going to be having, again, a program out. Look, parliament should be about what the people see, what the people say, what the people want. And ourselves as the executive, it's about us being creative and innovative about delivering the services, of course, working with our different departments.
And that is it, Minister. Thank you just so much. And we thank you for your input and for having spoken to us as at Parliament TV. We shall all the time knock by your door to say, Minister, do you have an update? And we know you will gladly assist and inform the public.
Absolutely. Thank
you. That was Minister of Social Development, Lindiwe Zulu. Please stay tuned as we will be coming back to you. And the turn now will be that of Minister of Home Affairs, as indicated earlier on. In the segment, the public hearings were focusing on social services. and the social cluster. We heard from the Minister of Social Development now. We are now joined by the Minister of Home Affairs, Ntate Aaron Motsoaledi. Welcome to Parliament TV, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to just start with your review about the session today.
Well, it was very robust. The questions they've asked are all the questions one would expect from the Department of Home Affairs. I'm saying expect because we know about some of the problems and we have started to put up solutions. Actually, from August, for about 8 to 9 weeks, I was not staying in the office. I was moving around the rural villages with mobile trucks, which can issue IDs and which can issue Home Affairs documents. And so I experienced, because in those meetings, I first go to the chief, I meet the councillors, I meet the stakeholders, members of the public, and they raise some of these issues. So I was not hearing them today for the first time.
And the long queues, people were also talking about the long queues. I do know that, Minister, you have introduced systems. For instance, those that are banking somewhere can get access to they can go and apply and then do their fingerprints later and so on and so forth. But I don't want to take it away from you. You can just explain it.
I'm sure you are aware that there's no time in which I appear in front of the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs without this question about long queues being asked. I actually, at some stage, said, is the original scene. It gives me sleepless nights, the issue of long queues. And it has got a multiplicity of factors. But first and foremost amongst them is what we call systems downtime, where the connectivity of our systems is down. And in May this year, in my budget speech, 90% of the whole budget speech was specifically about this issue. 90%. I outlined 13 things that are happening to try and resolve this issue, because it's a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare. One of the things we have mentioned is about, we get our technology systems from SITA, the State Information Technology Agency. And together with SITA, we appeared in front of the Portfolio Committee and outlined some of the issues that needs to be done. So during the budget speech, I was summarizing them. For instance, SITA said they are spending 400 million rand to try and redo their networks, their connectivity networks around the country. And they are doing many other things in technology to do that. Home Affairs is buying has already installed, by the way, new switches and routers around strategic offices in the country. SITA has already finalized what we call failovers to produce what we call redundancy. And they've done it in Tshwane, in Cape Town, and eThekwini, meaning when one area, the systems can't catch up, it jumps to the other area, which now serves all those particular areas. So these are really technology systems. And also, unlike any other government department or entity, when there is load shedding, Home Affairs can't work. And sometimes even with generators, we have got generators in many Home Affairs offices. But when there is there is load shedding, they won't work. Why? Because we depend, in our systems, we depend on network connectivity. Cell C, Vodacom, MTN, Telkom, all their towers are down during load shedding, and there's nothing Home Affairs can do, unfortunately. We have tried methods like by getting trucks, which we put satellite units on. We are trying everything, but we believe these problems must be solved timelessly, because they really cause headaches. And let me tell you, no human being likes to queue. It doesn't matter whether it's in Home Affairs, in a bank, hospital. Everybody who's in a queue, they lose their temper, they get very angry. So if they queue more than what is necessary, the level of anger goes even higher. And unfortunately, our technology systems causes that. Well, the other smaller problem was staffing, whereby Home Affairs was not allowed to hire more people or people as they retire since 2015. Now, Treasury has given us 266 million people. As I'm speaking here, we are filling 700 posts in Home Affairs, and we are 90% complete in filling those posts. But next year, we are going to demand more so that we don't experience any shortage of staff.
And Minister, you spoke about the systems. How safe are those systems? Because there are elements at some stage where there are just illegal IDs being produced.
Well, look, any system is as safe as the people who are saving it. If South Africans want to get corrupt, they can corrupt even some of the best systems. That is why, being aware of that in Home Affairs, we are very much robust in fighting corruption. We are charging people, we are firing them, but we are also upgrading technology. For instance, at the moment, all South Africans, we have got your biometrics, all of you, but there are only two. It's a fingerprint and a photo only. Now we are keeping that in a system called HANIS, Home Affairs National Information System. We are now migrating to a new system called ABIS, Automated Biometric Information System, which has got 5 biometrics, not 2. In addition to the fingerprint and the photo, they've got iris recognition. The system can recognize you in your eye. And that iris is yours only, no other person shares anything like that. But it also got a facial recognition. That face is yours. We don't share it with anybody. Yes, even if you are twins, it's your own face only. So it can recognize your face, and it also has got a palm print. So in order to do that, we've got to migrate all South Africans to ABIS, and we are 99.9% completed in migrating you to ABIS. And once everybody is migrated, we start adding the new system. In that way, your fingerprint and your face and your photo must match. Yes. And it's going to be very difficult to do corruption in that area, because I'm sure you know, in the old ID, the booklet, the green yarn, people can swap photos and all that. Yes. In these new systems, that's going to be extremely difficult.
And Minister, I would also love to say, people or the public always have an outcry regarding the IDs, applications and so on. Do they collect them?
Quite a number of them apply, funny enough, and they don't collect them. But we, regardless of the fact that everybody who applies for an ID, we send them an SMS. They leave their phone numbers. We send them an SMS and say your ID is ready. Our suspicion is that some people are giving us temporary numbers, maybe a number from an internet cafe, a number from a friend, because we send them these messages, but they never come. And only during some particular moments, like when the social relief grant came into being, people started running to Home Affairs to look for IDs. But there are lots of people who apply for IDs. At some stage, there were more than 400,000. I think sometimes last year, I don't know if I have a figure now, more than 400,000 which have been uncollected. And really, we are begging people, apply for your ID and come and collect it.
Yes. And as well, Minister, just lastly, as we close, there is also an element of matriculants, especially in the rural areas who get not to write, or some of them do the unthinkable measures with regards them not having the IDs. How are the students or children in schools, especially matriculants, assisted in terms of getting their identity documents?
You know, we are in touch with MECs, and we ask them, and I'm still appealing through your platform, that MECs of education must give us a list of children at the beginning of the year who are going to write matric. Because it's inconceivable not to write matric because we don't have an ID. We are asking for that list, and we ask for it every year. But secondly, in 2020, on June the 16th, the National Youth Day, the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Njabulo Nzuza, who's working with me, together with the Honorable Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Dr. Rijana Mahaul, they launched a project in Mpumalanga about school IDs, whereby all these mobile trucks are sent to schools. At the moment, of course, we concede we have got fewer trucks. I was just announcing this afternoon in the meeting that we are buying. We have given an instruction that a budget must be put in place in the next financial year to buy 120 extra trucks. At the moment, we have got 100 all over the country. A big province like KZN has got only 14. We want to increase them, and I said I'm not going to rest as a minister until Home Affairs have got 1,000 trucks, because one of our ultimate aims is that no child must go to Home Affairs office and queue there in a uniform, in a school uniform. We would like to go to their schools and give them IDs. At the moment, the system is working, but not very well because of the shortage of trucks. That's why we want to increase their numbers.
And Minister, thank you so much for talking to Parliament Television. We hope that next time when we say like you did today, you will hit our call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
that was Minister Motsoaledi, the Minister of Home Affairs, giving us a review and progress made by the department in improving service delivery as part of our theme after hearing from the community of Ugu District. But because he is not only just addressing Ugu District municipalities, addressing the nation, then he has given us an overall overview about what Home Affairs Department is doing. We have come to the end of our program for today, but tomorrow we will come back bright and early with day 2 of the program. From me and the crew, I Neboroko Kasetswana.
The National Council of Provinces is taking Parliament to the people of Kwazulu Natal from 14 to 18 November 2022. Taking Parliament to the People is a flagship program of the National Council of Provinces and fulfills the mandate to conduct oversight and to facilitate public participation in Parliament processes. During the program, delegations consisting of members of Parliament, provincial legislatures, and local municipalities will visit various sites and hold public meetings where members of the public are given the opportunity to draw the executive's attention to challenges they experience with regards to service delivery. Follow Parliament on social media for more information on Taking Parliament to the People 2022. Stay updated by visiting our website at www.parliament.gov.za. Parliament, following up on our commitments to the people, making your future work better.